Toronto, he will leave a legacy of 2 world championships and a 50 home run hitter. Welcome to Rogers Center in Toronto for Thank You Cito Night. The great manager Cito Gaston and his career will be honored here tonight as the Blue Jays and the Yankees wrap up the home season of the 2010 schedule for the Toronto Blue Jays. We are sitting in the TD Canada Trust Comfort Zone tonight. Right down on the field, we have a great perspective of this ballpark, and this beautiful ceremony is just about to take place. Hello, everybody. I'm Buck Martinez along with Pat Tabler. And, Pat, it is a great night to honor not only a great man, but a phenomenal mentor and a teacher, and such a great man to so many people. But we're going to honor his managerial career that's coming to an end here at home tonight.
He spent so many years in the Blue Jay organization. Has anybody done more than Cito Gaston for this organization and taking them to the next level?
Linda, his wife, and Cito are out there, and now let's go down to the master of ceremony, Jerry Howard, the radio voice of the Blue Jays.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a special night here at the Rogers Center. As we honor someone who came here in 1982 as the hitting coach and led the Blue Jays to 2 World Series championships, a thank you Cito Gaston night. And Cito, before I introduce the dignitaries, we both came here together in '82, and let me say that I appreciate your friendship. You have made my life better. I've learned a lot from you. You have made our city of Toronto better because of your presence. And I have the deepest respect and admiration for how you manage people from 1989 until today. Congratulations. Let's start with a Cy Young Award winner in 1996, who in 1991 was a rookie. But in 1992, he won 19 regular season games, but the 20th game that he won was in the World Series. Ladies and gentlemen, Pat Henkin. In 1991, the Blue Jays made a great trade with the Angels. They brought here a young center fielder who would go on to play the best center field in the major leagues from 1991 through 1995. Ladies and gentlemen, Devon White. In 1983 through 1990, he was a building block here toward what was to come. And in 1987, he won the league's Most Valuable Player Award and hit 47 home runs. Ladies and gentlemen, George Bell. In another great trade with the San Diego Padres, He came here in 1991. He led the Blue Jays to 2 World Series. And touch 'em all, Joe. You'll never hit a bigger home run in your life. Joe Carter. In 1999, he came to Toronto. He was quiet, shy. He still is to this day. But he has the franchise record with 215 hits in one season, won 3 Gold Gloves. Ladies and gentlemen, Vernon Wells. The Senior Vice President and General Manager of the Toronto Blue Jays, and a brand new papa with a little girl, Julia, Alex Anthopoulos. This next individual is back to do it again. He was at the helm for the first 2 World Series championships. He is the president and CEO of the Toronto Blue Jays and the Rogers Center, Paul Beeston. Also joining us tonight, he is the president and CEO of Rogers Communications, Nadir Mohammed. And our guest of honor, who is with his wife, Linda. We will hear from him in just a few minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, Linda and Cito Gaston. And now, I would like to have the guests of honor turn, stand around, and look at this marvelous video that's been put together for all of us.
He brought 2 World Series championships to this organization. He was a big part of that process, and I think his presence speaks volumes.
Cito was one of those guys that if you couldn't play for Cito, you couldn't play for anybody.
Obviously, a great manager to play for. Treats you like a human being and expects 2 things from you: be here on time and play hard. You can't ask for anything better than that.
It's not easy dealing with 25 different guys, different characters. So he has the father-like approach, like a coaching style. And those, to me, those are the kind of coaches that have more success with their players.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. Cito was the first guy to give me a chance to take the ball every 5th day. And, Cito for me has always been like an older brother or father figure. And I think not only myself, but a lot of us at that time felt that way about him.
He had a terrific bond with the players. But to all of them, he was always their friend. But more importantly, someone gave him the counsel that would take them to the next level.
I believe that Cito was the reason for many of us, for our success.
For me, on a personal note, he's really helped me out with my confidence and helped me with my swing. He gave me a lot of hitting tips, and they've been working out pretty good.
My career, in fact, has been transformed just being here, and the main reason Cito.
His knowledge of the game is rubbed off on a lot of guys. His passion for the game, his sincerity for the game and for people he cares about.
Well, as a manager, to me, he was the greatest manager that I ever played for.
Well, it's very difficult to win one World Series. When you can win it back-to-back, I mean, somebody has to take the credit. There's one leader, and that leader is in the clubhouse, and that leader is the manager.
It was a big accomplishment. I think as a coach, as a manager, you always want to win World Series, and he was able to be in two of them. It was a dream come true for all of us, for him, for me, and for all the players.
You know, I'm only 33, so I was quite young, but I just remember the playoff games, I remember the World Series, and I just knew that he was a champion and a winner, and he was part of what made this organization great.
He's accomplished a lot of things in this game. He's given a lot of people opportunity to excel in this game, and it was a pleasure being able to play underneath him.
I can say without any doubt that he definitely has changed me and made me a better player, and you know, ultimately, probably because of him, I got to go to my first All-Star game.
Special person, a big person, but a gentle person, a kind person, a considerate person, and I think more importantly than that, I mean, Cito represents what we want in an organization, which is class.
Just a class act, and I think that's probably the best word that epitomizes Cito Gaston and what he's all about, the character and the grace and the way that he conducts himself.
As far as a friend, I don't know if you could ask for a better friend. He's been almost like a brother to me.
What a wonderful person. There's nobody better than him.
What an organizational man he is, and he is the Toronto Blue Jays in so many ways.
I've just been a very fortunate individual to be able to work around a few managers in my career, one that just went into the Hall of Fame this year in Whitey Herzog, and one that will eventually go into the Hall of Fame in Cito Gaston.
I just want to congratulate Cito Gaston on a very fine career. Cito and I go back a long ways. In fact, I believe, Cito, when you got to the big leagues, I think you and I was roommates for a few years. And after that, we remained friends, and you've had a very good major league career, not only as a player, but as a manager also. Congratulations to you, and whatever you decide to do, just remember that don't forget about old friends, and I want to remain your friend. The name is Hank Aaron. Thank you very much.
Congratulations, Clarence. Congratulations, Cito. I'm glad for you. Very happy that you're ending your career this way. I know you're going to be around. It's not going to be the last of you. We're going to be seeing you around.
Hey, Cito. Paul Molitor here. I just want to be one of the many to congratulate you on your retirement and just an incredible career. I know personally that I owe you a great deal for the tremendous friendship that we were able to develop during my time in Toronto, and of course you being the man to lead us to that World Championship, the only one that I had a chance to experience in 1993. So all the best, my friend. God bless.
Hello, Cito. I wish I could be with you tonight up there in Toronto as they honor you and recognize you for all you've done in this game. Best wishes to you. Whatever route you choose to take from here, good luck.
Hey, Cito, just a shout out from a blast from your past. Your old right-hander, Jack Morris, here, wanting to congratulate you on a job well done. Our years in Toronto were just as good as a player could ever have, having you as their skipper. I personally want to thank you for what you've meant to me and how you showed class in everything you did as a manager.
Hey, man, Dusty here. I'm sure you know that. Man, hey, we go back a long, long ways. I remember when I was an 18-year-old kid playing my first game in AA with the Austin Braves in Little Rock, Arkansas. I dropped the first ball, hit to me. I started crying because these guys were all on me out in right field out there, and you told me you were going to take care of me. And you did. You've been taking care of me most of my baseball, well, all my baseball career as a player and manager, and I just want to say thank you so much for everything.
A big thank you. I came to the team, you welcomed me, and you gave me an opportunity to play. Helped me become a pretty good baseball player, and I have a lot to thank to you about that.
Cito, I want to congratulate you on the great career you've had in baseball. You've been a great credit from your playing days on. You managed the Blue Jays to their 2 World Championships. Your career from start to finish has been just extraordinary. Congratulations, Cito. I wish you the best in the future, and I look forward to our paths crossing in the near future.
Cito, congratulations on your planned retirement from the dugout. I know for more than 20 years through coaching and managing and a couple of World Series championships, you've been a tremendous asset, not only to the Blue Jays, but to the development of baseball in your adopted home country of Canada.
Cito, my old buddy, listen, congratulations on a great baseball career. You were awesome and one of the best guys I've ever known, Cito, and personal friend of mine forever. Have a great night, Cito. Congratulations.
Thank you for everything you have done for me. Thank you for everything that you have done for the people here in Toronto, and I wish you all the best.
He was more than a coach. He was a true friend. Cito Gaston set a very high standard. He did it with an air of professionalism, a love for his players, and a love for the game.
Thank you, and please be seated. How about ending that video with those great words from my late partner, Tom Cheek? Tom's call, "Touch 'em all, Joe, you'll never hit a bigger home run in your life," is my introduction to bring up Joe Carter.
Thank you, Jerry. First of all, I want to tell Cito that there are guidelines when you're having a retirement party and they're honoring you. You can't get thrown out of the game, okay? You know, they measure success in baseball by wins and world championships. 909 wins, 2 world championships. We can see he's had success. But you know what? In life, success is measured by the impact that you have on other people's lives. And if we look around here and see the impact that Cito has had on all you all's lives and all the guys up here, we thank him for that because he has made an impact. It was a privilege for me to play 7 years here in Toronto. Playing 7 years for Cito Gaston, it was an honor. Thank you, my brother. I love you.
Thank you, Joe. On the video, Jose Bautista said it best, "Thank you." And now, on behalf of Jose's teammates, Vernon Wells. Come on up, Vernon.
Well, I've been here for a long time. I've gotten to be under Cito as a manager, as a hitting coach, and he's been a valuable part of my baseball career. He expects nothing but the best. He expects you to come out and play this game the right way and respect the fact that you get to put a uniform on each and every night and play this game of baseball like it's your last game ever. On behalf of the players, we want to say thank you. You've been a tremendous blessing in the lives of many. I'm sure Linda's happy that she's actually going to get you on an everyday basis. I don't think people out here understand how much of a grind it is on the family, us being on the road so much. But I'm sure Linda's going to be excited to have you back. And on a personal note, he rocks a mustache better than anybody I've seen in the last 20 years. And as a team, we thought it would be a great gesture to go out and get you something. And this is something that is nicer than anything I've ever had. So we want to say thank you. And it's been, like I said, it's been a blessing to play underneath you. And this is a thank you for everything you've done for this organization and everything you'll continue to do from this day on. Thank you.
Thank you, Vernon. Now, if the dignitaries could just stay seated and turn around toward the video, we have another video, Messages for Cito from the fans.
Hey, Cito, just want to say thank you for all the great seasons and great memories.
For all the successes of the past and all of the joys and surprises of this season.
Thank you for everything, for all the success you brought the Blue Jays.
You taught us the meaning of the word respect. We appreciate you and we will miss you.
Hey, Cito, just want to say good luck and thank you for the World Series championships.
Thank you, Cito, for everything you've done for the Blue Jays. I really don't know what we would have done without you.
Thank you for being a big part of the Toronto sports scene. Thanks for the memories and all the best in the future.
Cito, you're going to be missed, not just by Toronto, but by the Jays and every fan in Canada. It's just not going to be the same without you. Take care, and thanks for everything.
Thank you, Cito.
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 Thanks, Cito. We're really going to miss you.
Thank you, Cito.
Thank you, Cito. Thank you, Cito.
Thank you, Cito.
Thank you, Cito. You're the man.
Thank you, Cito.
Ladies and gentlemen, the president of the Toronto Blue Jays, Paul Beeston.
Picking up from where Joe spoke, Jackie Robinson said, "A life is not important except on the impact it has on other people's lives." Cito, you came to Toronto in 1982. You brought a style, and you gave us your undivided attention, but more importantly, you brought with it everything that requires to show what leadership is all about. You reluctantly took the job in 1989. You came back in 2008. And Cito, we couldn't be happier for you. You won pennants, you won World Series, and more importantly, you won a lot of individual honors. But what you really did, and more important, you represented ownership, you represented the team, you represented the country, and you did it with what is commonly known as class. You were instrumental in impacting the lives of all the players and the coaches who wore the Blue Jays uniform. And you stand as a model of what leadership is all about. I could go on and talk about your many virtues, but what I really want to do is say a few thank yous. I want to say thank you on behalf of our entire organization, the scouting staff, the development staff, the players, and everybody in the front office, because you treated us all the same, no matter where we were or where we stood. I want to thank you on behalf of the ownership, both past and present. And most importantly, I want to thank you, because I know I can, I want to thank you on behalf of the fans and the legions of them across this country for what you have done to represent us so well. And Cito, you did have an impact. And something tells me that Jackie Robinson is looking down on you today fondly, knowing that you did what he wanted you people to do, which is to have an impact on other people's lives. So, Cito, congratulations, and come on up here, because I'm going to call Alex and Nadir Muhammad up here to make a couple of presentations. There are a couple of presentations. When Cito decided he was going to leave this year, we wondered what we could do for him. He has pretty well what he wants in family and material things. So what we are going to do, Cito, is give you 4 tickets anywhere in the world to take a 2-week golf vacation with whomever you want. Linda, that could include you. Joe has got his hand up. But Cito, 4 first-class seats wherever you want to go, and we will work that out. And spring training starts in 4.5 months, so you've got a little bit of time, but not a lot. And in addition to that, Vernon Wells' father, a renowned painter, has done a portrait of you that I'm going to ask Alex and Nadir to unveil at this time.
Thanks, Alex. Thank you. All right. Well, thank you. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. I could probably stand here and enjoy that a little bit longer, but I know we do have to play a baseball game. But there's a lot of people that I would like to thank. We just don't have the time to do that. But first of all, I'd like to thank God for giving me the strength and the faith to do this. I'd like to thank my family, my wife, for putting up with me all these years. And you guys who play this game know what I'm talking about. Without our families, we wouldn't be anything. And also, I'd like to thank all the players who's ever played for me in the way that they played. And that was hard every day. And goes for this year too. Those guys on that dugout right there, they said it best right here. Heart and hustle. And they have done that all year. And I'm really proud of you guys, and you should be proud of yourself too. Then I'd like to go, and I want to thank Paul Beeston, Mr. Hardy, the late Mr. Hardy, for believing in me and giving me the chance to succeed. And certainly, I want to thank you fans for the memories. For without you, there would be no memories. And I want you to remember, we need you again. We need you to come out, support this team, and put this team back where it used to be. We want to be in the dugout next year celebrating as the Yankees has this year. And I want to thank the Yankees tonight for being so patient and being out here and enjoying this ceremony tonight. And their organization with great tradition and great pride. And that's what we want to be too, is that. Once again, thank you, fans. Thank you for the memories. And God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Cito. And now it's time to play ball.
A tremendous ceremony to honor a great man, Cito Gaston. And Pat, there was an awful lot of emotion out there between the former players, Vernon Wells and Cito Gaston himself, but truly well-deserved.
Emotional, and all you have to do is watch when former players come back and they sit in the office with Cito Gaston and they talk to him and they talk about the great times. They understand. They understand what he meant to this organization, what he means to this city. You know, on and on and on, you could talk about that. But every player that comes through Toronto, former player that comes through Toronto, stops by his office to have a few chats.
And some great comments from Paul Beeston talking about the impact of Cito's life, much like that of Jackie Robinson. And there's a bit of irony in the fact that Robinson's number was 42 and Gaston's number was 43.
Couldn't have said it any better about having the impact on the lives of the baseball players. The past and present players, you can see this right here as the players file out one by one getting a hug from Cito Gaston. He had an impact on hitters. He had an impact on pitchers. He had an impact when he was a player back in the 70s. As a manager and as a coach, you had him as a hitting coach and the impact he had. How many great players did he make? I think great hitters that he took to the next level.
Robbie Alomar talks about it all the time, how he made him a championship player. And he said he's the best manager he ever had and a great hitting coach. And I think there's so many players, and George Bell comes to mind. Devon White was a cast-off, became an all-star and a World Series champion. And even the younger players now, maybe it puts into perspective what Cito Gaston's career has been for some of his young players that didn't realize the impact he's had to so many people. When you see Hank Aaron and Dusty Baker and Paul Molitor and Dave Winfield all acknowledging how much of an impact Cito Gaston's had on their career.
I wanted to get the reaction of some of the younger players who weren't around, who were just 20, 22, 25 years old. I wanted to see the reaction when they saw Hank Aaron on the big screen or Dusty Baker, Bud Selig, some of the other ones. I mean, it's so cool to see what he has meant to this organization. You know, it really meant to baseball, not just Toronto, not just the Blue Jays organization, but all of baseball. So this was really cool. It's really well done.
Well, now for more on the celebration and Cito's impact, let's check in with Sam Cosentino.
Well, guys, I'm joined now by Linda Gaston, and Cito talked all week long about how it's going to be tough not to be emotional, but maybe you were more emotional based on what you saw. What did you think of the ceremony?
Absolutely phenomenal. I'm overwhelmed. Now I'm going to tear up now, but I'm overwhelmed by the support of the fans and the people in Toronto. I'm originally from Canada, and well, actually Newmarket, and I can't tell the fans how much they mean to Cito and how much the city of Toronto means to Cito.
When you look at guys such as Dave Winfield and Hank Aaron, Paul Molitor, all Hall of Famers, and the great words they had to say about Cito, what does that make you feel?
Makes me feel wonderful, and I know that my husband is a great person, And I can see how when the people respond the way they do to him, that he's so sincere. He's taught me a lot as well.
So I know you've got a trip to Hawaii already planned with Nick Leva and Gene Tennis. A trip for 4 now anywhere across the world. But Cito's talked about traveling. Any places in mind, any special places you two want to get to?
He really wants to go to South Africa, so I think that we'll probably be going there.
Linda, thanks for your time. Congratulations on what was a beautiful night.
Thank you, Sam, very much.
Thanks, Linda.
Thank you, Sam, and a great night. And certainly one last hug from Beeston, the CEO. When we come back, lineups and first pitch to cap off a beautiful night. Night at Rogers Center, and it was a great ceremony. Cito Gaston thanking all his fans, and the players, to acknowledge Cito Gaston, have all painted mustaches on in honor of his final game here at Rogers Center.
Vernon Wells said it nicely. He rocks with his mustache, and they're going to prove that by all painting it on before the game.
Everybody making sure they capture the memories of this great night. Nick Leva and Cito Gaston together 9 years, and certainly enjoyed an awful lot of great times together. But it's the final game of the home schedule for the Blue Jays. Joe Girardi's Yankees have clinched their spot in the postseason. They won last night 6-1. And he's got the regulars back in there again tonight. Look at the lineup. Jeter, Swisher, Teixeira. A regular lineup. this season against the Blue Jays. Mark Teixeira has hit 4 home runs and driven in 18 runs. Alex Rodriguez, Robbie Cano, Marcus Timms, all the regulars back in the lineup tonight trying to win the division.
Yeah, still a lot to play for the New York Yankees as they wind down this season. How about home field advantage throughout the playoffs? That is the lineup that Brett Cecil takes to the mound as the staff leader in wins, looking for his 15th win of the season. Brett has turned his game up a notch lately, going 3-0 over his last 4 starts, including beating these Yankees at Yankee Stadium back on September the 5th, allowing just 3 runs in pitching into the 7th inning. Good numbers all the way around for Cecil.
Well, if Cecil's on his game, he's going to have a lot of ground ball outs. In the outfield, you have this regular outfield of Snyder, Wells, and Bautista. On the infield, John McDonald gets to start at third base tonight. Junel Escobar, Aaron Hill up the middle. Lyle Overbay had a great night in the field last night, and John Buck is behind the plate again tonight.
Well, he says he rocks his stash, so he's going to honor Cito Gaston tonight by painting on mustaches. Wells and Overbay, everybody at the beginning of this game.
First pitch strike to Derek Jeter. Jeter had 2 hits in last night's game and scored a couple of runs. Good breaking ball.
Well, if he has that change-up, he has that type of breaking ball, he'll pitch very well. He's had very good success this year against the Yankees, going 3-0 in 4 starts. The Yankees hitting just .232 against Cecil this season.
A ball and 2 strikes. Brett Cecil has gained an awful lot of confidence over the course of this season. He's pitched very well against the American League East all year long. Cut on and missed. Foul tip. Held on through by John Buck. First strikeout of the night.
78 miles an hour on that changeup. Again, he's got great arm action on it. Watch how he digs it back into his hand, and then it comes out, and it just doesn't get to the plate. Jeter way out in front. First strikeout of the night for Cecil. If he's got that pitch to go along with that cutter and fastball, he could be very dangerous.
We have seen it all year long. When the Blue Jays pitchers can get that changeup over, they can neutralize this potent Yankee lineup. Switch hitter Nick Swisher will step in against Brett Cecil. To give you an idea of what we're seeing tonight when we're down here in the TD Comfort Zone, big easy chairs, a reminder of just how quick the game is.
That ball is coming in very fast to Nick Swisher. It's also keep your eye on the ball night.
Yeah, don't turn around. Well, one thing I always talk about, when you move from the field to the dugout, the game slows down. When you move from the dugout to the seats, it really slows down. And it's in slow motion when you're broadcasting upstairs.
The farther away from the dirt you get, the easier the game is.
Boy, that's for sure. This is a good reminder how quick the game is. The ball and 2 strikes to Nick Swisher, 1 out. What a beautiful night. Cecil had something on his mind, and John Buck trying to figure out what that is. Still can't get their heads together. Now they're set. Change up, missed up and away.
They keep going to that change up. Teams can get you out up or down, or they can get you out with fastballs and breaking balls. The Blue Jay pitchers are unique, and they can get you with a fastball in the changeup. They change speeds. They make you go out and try and get the ball.
Hopped up on the infield. Aaron Hill makes the catch. A little bit of wind blowing around.
Tonight's scouting report is brought to you by TD Bank. Banking can be this comfortable. Poise on the mound. We have seen it this year from Brett Cecil. He has really grown. He's got all the pitches, the fastball, the slider, the curve. He's got the change. He can cut the ball in on right-handers, and I think he needs to make them put it in play. He only has a 2-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio. He is at his best when he is making the opposition put the ball in play.
Mark Teixeira just off the plate inside. 1-1.
You know what's going to happen when they establish that changeup early in the game? His fastball is going to look about 95 or 96 later in the game.
Line drive down the left field line. That's a fair ball. Teixeira around first, headed for second. Snyder will get the ball back into the cutoff man. It's a stand-up double for Teixeira.
On top of 33 home runs and well over 100 RBIs for Teixeira, he's also got extra base power. This is double number 35. He gets a changeup. Rips it right over the head of McDonald down into the corner for extra bases.
This is the 18th game that the Yankees have played the Blue Jays, and Teixeira's seen a steady diet of changeup, so he's finally sitting on it and hit that one hard. Alex Rodriguez now with 29 home runs on the season. Pops this one up. Right side in front of the Yankees dugout. Overbay in the coach's box makes the play. I thought we had one, Pat. It is thank you Cito night tonight at Rogers Center. We have played a half inning. It's scoreless. Vernon Wells against the Yankees in the cleanup spot all year long has been very productive. 7 home runs and 19 driven in for the season for Wells. Cito wants to make sure they have the best record possible, trying to wrap up this Yankee series this year.
And it's been a while since they won a series against the Yankees. Javier Vasquez has spent most of the season in the rotation, but has bounced between starting and relieving since late August. He's really struggled in his last starts, 0-2 with an ERA over 7. To bump that season ERA up over 5. He also hasn't pitched past the 6th inning since July the 31st. He has had trouble commanding his pitches, and that's why his numbers have ballooned.
Originally, this was Andy Pettit's scheduled night. They pushed Pettit back, want him to pitch on Friday in an effort to get him ready for the postseason. Javier Vasquez set to work to Travis Snyder. Popped out of play down the left side. Snyder with a big night last night. Hit a rocket out of the ballpark for a home run in the 3rd inning off CC Sabathia, and then hit one off the glove of Mark Teixeira in the 9th.
And you can just see him as when they put him into the top of the lineup, how aggressive and how much more comfortable he has been every one of his at-bats.
Ball on the strike. Travis Snyder's mustache reminds me of Bobby Valentine when he got thrown out of the game at Shea.
He just needs the glasses now, right? The fake glasses and nose.
And check swing, foul tip. But you have to admire the intent to acknowledge Cito Gaston's final game here at Rogers Center. The team has painted mustaches on.
I never would have thought of something like that. Maybe put his number on your jersey or something like that, but not the stash.
Line drive right field. Swisher back. This ball is gone. That's the way you honor your manager. You set a new franchise record in home runs.
When Cito Gaston was named the hitting coach in 2000, that's when they set the franchise record of 244. Now his last year as manager, they reset it. They break that record. We told you that he looks very comfortable at the plate since they moved him into that leadoff spot. He's got light tower power, and he shows it off there against Vasquez.
Number 13 for Travis Snider. It's the mustache for sure. Now you got to wear it the rest of the season.
That's right. Can't take it off now.
Escobar in the left field. He has a base hit. Travis Snider, since he's hit top of the order, things have been going well for him. Home runs in back-to-back nights now.
I think the home run that he hit last night against CC Sabathia has got to give him a lot of confidence. One of the best left-handers in the American League, and he takes them deep.
The Major League leader in home runs, Jose Bautista. 9 homers in his last 20 games. Nobody out. Fly ball, but not that deep. Escobar goes back to tag up at first. Kearns underneath it. Escobar on his way to second. Here's the throw, and Escobar is out. Austin Kearns threw a strike to second. Robbie Cano was there for the tag. Throw was right in front of Escobar, but he continued to run right into that tag.
Yankees have some good throwing arms in the outfield. Kearns came up as a right fielder, so you know his arm is strong. Floated on a little bit, and I think that's what Escobar saw. But you're right, the play is right in front of you. Tries to get himself into scoring position on that medium fly ball to left field. You can get off, you can tag, you can get off about, go about halfway and read the throw. If the throw is on line, just go back. If it's offline, you can make it.
An easy play for Cano. Throw was right on the money. Vernon Wells takes the ball. Austin Kearns with a good arm and a good strong throw. The Yankees are noted for their power, obviously, but they really play good defense.
They certainly do. They've got the best fielding percentage in all of baseball. They have only made 63 errors all season long, the fewest in both National and American League.
Another base hit. Vernon Wells singles into left field. Well, we mentioned the new franchise home run record, 245 home runs hit by the Blue Jays this year. Travis Snider, the 22-year-old, hits the home run and breaks the mark.
And they keep going and keep going. No surprise that Cito Gaston was in charge of all of those teams except the 98 team when it comes to home runs. In 87, he was the hitting coach. 2000, he was the hitting coach. And this year, the manager.
Lyle Overbay. Vernon Wells at first. Overbay takes a pitch outside. When you think of that 2000 team, Tony Bautista and Carlos Delgado both had 41 home runs that year. That set the pace. Off speed pitch. Overbay's out in front.
But it wasn't just those two. You had Jose Cruz Jr. with 31, Brad Fulmer with 32 home runs. Shannon Stewart chipped in with 21. Mondesi with 24. That was a powerful, powerful team.
I believe Darren Fletcher had 20 home runs as well. 2 balls and a strike. We are in the first inning. Travis Snider jumped on Javier Vasquez, hitting a leadoff home run to put the Jays up 1-0. There goes Vernon Wells. This is popped up near the right field seat, or left field, and it's out of play. Lost my perspective a little bit.
You know, being over here, you're right. You get kind of backwards. Take a couple of innings to get used to it over here.
Travis Snider's leadoff home run was the 5th of the season for the Blue Jays. Fred Lewis was the leadoff man for most of the season. Two balls, two strikes. Line drive down the right side. Swisher running toward the foul line and makes the catch. The Blue Jays are retired in the first. But Travis Snyder, his 13th home run of the season, a leadoff shot to right. A new franchise home run record. 245 home runs for the season.
Sharp Aquos products, including a new HD Quadron TV and Blu-ray player. Enter online at hitahomerun.sharp.ca. Sharp Aquos with Quadron technology. You have to see it to see it.
Travis Snyder has put the Jays out in front 1-0. Robinson Cano, the fine second baseman for the Yankees, will lead off the second. Ceso's out in front with a fastball. Cano's had a tough season against the Blue Jays. They have really pitched him tough, hitting just 161 for the year. Just foul outside first. If I'm playing the Yankees in the postseason, I'm looking at the Blue Jay games and trying to figure out how they pitch Robinson Cano.
You know, you can find the splits. You know, you can look up on, anywhere and find how certain teams pitched certain players, and all you have to do is look at the numbers. We just flashed them on the board right there, 161. Here's a guy who's hitting well over 300 with great production. And it's no secret, we have watched every game this year between these two teams. They have pitched them tough because they've utilized and used the changeup.
They throw him enough inside pitches to make him aware of that, and that really protects the outside changeup. But nowadays, with the video and the computerized video, they can call up any video of anybody and break down a batting stroke. And certainly you know that the three postseason teams are doing that right now. 0-2 to Cano.
It's not even at bats as that ball hits off the facing of the fifth deck. They can go back and say, okay, what did Robinson Cano do with two strikes, and how did the pitchers pitch to him, and call up all of his at-bats against a certain team when he had two strikes to see what they did to him.
How they finish him off. Fred Ceso's in that spot now, 0-2 to Cano. Another pop foul out of play.
I don't know if I should look at the monitor or look at the
I'm looking at Robbie Cano right now, making sure that he hits one down here.
Well, especially when we see changeup, because he was way out in front of that one.
I'm watching the signs, and then I'm looking.
That's right. That's right.
On the ground, Overbay has it. He'll take it himself. Cano's retired. Normally, we are in the broadcast booth on the fourth level here at Rogers Center. But tonight, Scott Carson, our wonderful stats man, Mr. Baseball up there all by himself.
Han Solo.
And I have nobody to talk to in between innings. He helps me out so much.
Who's going to be passing you notes tonight?
I won't have anything good to say tonight. Marcus Thames has really worn out the Blue Jays this year. He's in there again against the left-hander, Brett Cecil. Thames came off the bench in last night's game and had a pinch hit single. That was off of David Percy.
And he is raking here at Rogers Center this year, almost 400. 385 for Marcus Thames.
Let me ask you, with Cecil's changeup, everybody now knows he has a good one. Why are hitters still out in front of him?
Because he's got great arm action on it.
Ball is popped up right side of the infield. Aaron Hill backs up, makes the catch.
And what I mean by great arm action, he throws it out of the same arm slot as his fastball and all his other pitches. And he throws it at the same arm speed as all his other pitches. So as a hitter, when you're standing up there and you're thinking fastball or you're thinking slider, cut, or what else, and you watch that arm come through, it's an optical illusion. If you see that ball, it looks like a fastball, and all of a sudden it almost seems like it stops on its way to home plate. That's why the batters have been swinging at it.
Austin Kearns takes a fastball away. All pitches I saw seemed like an optical illusion. I can't tell you. I don't understand how some guys make it look so easy. 2 balls and no strikes to the Yankees left fielder. 2 outs, second inning. Boy, it's a beautiful night. The roof is open, the breeze you can feel down. This is kind of nice being down here.
Doesn't it feel like playoff baseball? A little chill in the air, the crowd, electric.
Well, I applaud the fans for showing up tonight. It's a Wednesday night, and certainly they came out to acknowledge Cito Gaston on Thank You Cito Night. Nice turnout. I don't like the way Bob Layden didn't even go after that ball.
Didn't even flinch.
Didn't even move.
Somebody wake him up.
Come on. We're going to talk if I get hit. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Full count.
Kearns is going to be an important guy for the Yankees in the playoffs. We've talked about it all year long, how many great left-handers there are, especially the teams that are now in the playoffs. His bat's going to have to be important in the playoffs.
You would imagine Kearns and Thames will be front and center. Full count. Grounded to second. Big hop for Aaron Hill. Kearns is retired at 1-2-3 second inning. Brett Cecil's held the Yankees to just a double so far. Look at the regular season wins for Cito Gaston. 890 wins. No one is close to that total.
Bobby Cox second, a distant second at 355. Isn't that ironic that the two of them will form the foundation of the coaching staff of that great team in the mid-'80s when the Blue Jays really turned the corner as an organization?
I think that's really the first step in the right direction. Bobby Cox came in to manage in '82 and brought Cito along with him, and that was Cito's first major league coaching job.
The first full-time hitting coach. It took 5 years before they had a full-time hitting coach.
Yeah, Bobby Doerr was there off and on, and they had Bobby to come in from time to time, but they didn't have a full-time hitting coach. Aaron Hill cuts on the pitch and lifts it into center. Greg Golson in center tonight with great speed, gets over and makes an easy play. But in '82, Bobby Cox took over for Bobby Maddock, who had managed in '81, and I joined the team in '81, and then Bobby came in, and you could sense right there the tenor of things changed dramatically when Bobby Cox came in and brought Cito along. John Sullivan came over, and at that point, Cito certainly started to learn how to coach and how to build hitters, and then he obviously became a great builder of championship teams as well.
In every hitter that you talk to who played for Cito Gaston, it's the same line. You can draw a line from George Bell, Jesse Barfield, through Lloyd Moseby, Joe Carter, in today's hitter. And they talk about the same thing, how they learn to become a good hitter with Cito Gaston, mainly as their hitting coach, looking for a pitch. You know, let the breaking ball go if you're not a breaking ball type of hitter. Look for your pitch until you get to 2 strikes. And every one of them are great home run hitters.
Adam Lynn in a hole, taps it back to the mound. Vasquez to Sharon. 2 down.
You could win all new Honda CRZ and other great prizes when you vote for the Honda Play of the Month. Vote today at BlueJays.com.
You know, I found it so ironic the other night when we were talking to George Bell up into the box up there, and we were talking about the impact that Cito Gaston had on him as a hitter. And it sounded like Jose Bautista was talking to us, because the same message that worked in the 80s works in 2010.
Have a plan. Know what you want to hit. Don't chase pitches until you get to 2 strikes, and that's exactly what Jose Bautista has talked about. And when you think about it, here's another man that's really benefited from the impact of Cito Gaston, and John Buck acknowledged that during the ceremony in a video when he said Cito was responsible for me making the All-Star team for the first time.
Said it changed his life, changed him as a baseball player.
He's established a new career high in home runs and RBI. One and one, 2 outs. Francisco Cervelli is behind the plate tonight for Javier Vasquez. Posada was there last night. Judge Wright said he's going to continue to play the players. He checked with most of his veteran players today, and everybody said, hey, they feel fine, they want to play. Obviously, home field advantage, very important aspect of postseason play. Right now, the Yankees trail Tampa Bay by half a game.
And playing in Yankee Stadium, if you've never played there, it's an advantage if you're the home team. They have a record, 52-29 record at home this year. They're the Yankees. It's a very tough place to play as a visiting player. Very loud, very boisterous, very intimidating. Those 52 wins, second only to Minnesota in the American League.
3-1 breaking ball in there for a strike. And checking in on Baltimore, Tampa Bay, it's scoreless in the 5th inning in St. Petersburg. Drive right center field. Swisher on the run. He is not going to get it. Home run, John Buck. catcher.
One of the problems that Javier Vasquez has had this year is the long ball. Travis Snyder hit one in the first inning. That was number 30 given up this year by Vasquez, and now he matches his number on his back with number 31. And you know Cito Gaston is really happy. He has spoken about John Buck getting to 20 home runs.
He sure has. You can see the big smile on Gaston's face. That's a pretty tough pitch down and away, and he drilled it to the bullpen in right field.
You have to be some kind of strong to be able to hit the ball the other way that far. Look at Cito.
He knows how hard it is to have a 20 home run season, especially for a catcher. And he was very supportive of John Buck and kept him playing, wanted him to get to that plateau.
6 players now on the Blue Jays with at least 20 home runs.
Exactly what he said in spring training. I've got 6 guys on my team I think can hit 20 home runs. A ball and a strike to John McDonald. Breaking ball on the knees. McDonald starting at third base tonight. He's established a new career high in home runs with 6.
His slugging percentage is the highest in his career. Extra bases. So they keep flipping and breaking balls. 6 home runs and 22 driven in for Johnny Mack.
The ball and 2 strikes. Two and 2. Blue Jays lead 2-0 as they want to win this season series. They're currently ahead at 9-8 and have a chance to win the season series for the first time since 2000. Line drive off the glove of Alex Rodriguez. McDonald around first. He's headed to second. Burns doesn't have a play, and John McDonald has a 2-out double.
Kept beating him off speed pitches. McDonald stayed back just enough to get it over A-Rod's glove. Slowed it down enough so he can get around the bag. As soon as it gets over the glove, he's thinking extra bases. Gets himself into scoring position for Travis Snyder.
9th double for McDonald. Travis Snyder has been swinging a red-hot bat of late. Bounced, and that'll get past the catcher. McDonald goes around 3. He's coming home. Here's the throw to the plate. And the ball was out of play. The ball bounced out of play, and that meant that McDonald was held to a single run, but he had the right idea.
He had a play like that, I believe it was in Boston, where he scored on a play when home plate was left vacant. He's a heads-up base runner. He's not thinking about the next base. He's thinking about 2 bases ahead of him. That ball bounces off Cervelli. It'll go as a wild pitch, and watch as it goes just out of play and into the dugout. So it's just 1 base.
So McDonald's at third now with 2 outs, and obviously the ball in the dirt, wild pitch become a factor here.
You know, if that ball hit the wall there and ricocheted away,
he scores.
He scores.
Yeah.
And it came oh so close.
Snyder keeping the mustache after going deep his first at-bat. They might start a fad around town. You'll see a bunch of kids tomorrow going to school with a little mustache paint.
We just thought of our new promotion, our first promotion for next year.
2 balls, no strikes. Strike at the knees. 2-1. Travis Snyder homered in his first at bat. And established a new franchise record for home runs in a season at 245.
Oh, what he would have done if he didn't miss those 54 games with the wrist injury. He was swinging the bat as well as anybody on the team when he got hurt. I believe it was in May. Missed 54 games, the most games of any regular that the Blue Jays have had this season.
Just on the corner, it's a full count. That's a great point. He literally was the hottest guy on the team when he hurt his wrist, and it was just a very benign check swing. Didn't think anything of it. And he said, well, he hurt his wrist. Next thing you know, he's gone for 50 days. Full count, 2 outs. Bouncing ball, base hit through the left side. McDonald comes in to score. Snyder has a pair of RBI. 2 for 2 tonight. And the mustache will keep on going.
When you can hit the ball out of the ballpark, that is obviously an attribute. But if you can go the other way and become a good hitter, now you're talking about something special. 2 strikes, 2 outs, and he's able to push the ball right by Rodriguez for another RBI. I don't know if he hits that ball 3 weeks ago.
Well, that's a great point. Now he's understanding you got to take what the pitcher gives you with 2 strikes. 2 outs. Snyder's at first. Escobar had a single in his first at bat, and then was doubled up trying to tag and advance on a fly ball to left. Popped up near the comfy seats. Teixeira over off his glove, but he caught it. He popped it up and caught it in that big first baseman's mitt. Made a nice play. When we come back to Rogers Center, Joe Carter, the hero of the '93 World Series, will join us. We're pleased to be joined by Joe Carter. And Joe, you made an appearance out here, a very special night. Thank you, Cito Gaston night, and thank you for joining us.
Well, Buck, it's always a pleasure joining you and Tabler and, all the guys. The only thing I'm worried about is this is too close.
You're not as worried as I am, Joe.
Could you imagine when I was playing if they'd had this on the third base line?
Oh yeah.
I think I would hit a few guys, but no, you got to be leery over here.
Yeah. Well, this is a good reminder of how quick the game is. But talk about Cito. You had some great words to say about Cito Gaston. You came here from San Diego at a time when the ball club was on the uptick, and you certainly added a lot to this ball club.
Well, but coming here, I knew Toronto was an awesome place with 50,000 fans coming to every ball game. And then getting a chance to play for Cito. We had long conversations whenever we would come to town when I was in Cleveland, because Bobby Bonds and Cito always had this thing going about who had the best hitters. And Cito would come to town and say, hey, I got my boys ready. And Bobby Bonds would say, you know what, my boys are ready too. So the pitchers had no chance.
And then when you got the news you were coming to Toronto, that must have been a real up time in your career.
Well, at the time when it happened, I was kind of disappointed because I was 1 year away from being a free agent. I wanted to play in Kansas City, lived in Kansas City. But once I got over the initial shock of being traded, and I told Robbie, I said, man, we are going to a great place. And you talk about a great place to play baseball, chance to win a championship, and it all came to fruition.
When you came here, you had established yourself as an all-star type of player. You had great years in Cleveland and San Diego. But when you got here and you got a chance to work with Cito, did he take your game to the next level? And if he did, what did he do?
Well, Pat, and you were here too. The one thing about Cito that you loved is that he didn't put any pressure on you. He told you to go out there, and it's almost the same way as Bobby Bonds. He told you to work within yourself, and the one thing Cito always preached was have a plan, have an idea. And he would teach you things on the bench, certain pitches to look for, and you go back, okay, why did he throw me this pitch in this situation? And Cito knew what was coming. He had did the same things, I think, the year before with Kelly Gruber, but Kelly really didn't, sit and analyze as to why they did those pitches, and so you really didn't learn from that.
Ground ball to third. McDonald quickly to Hill, and that's all they'll get with Golson running. So they get the lead runner, 1 out.
So the whole thing is, Cito says you go out there and you play your game. We're not worried about your base on balls. We're not worried about your strikeouts. But go out there and do what you know that you can do. The same thing with Devon White. There was talk about, well, he didn't take a lot of pitches. He didn't he didn't walk a lot for a leadoff hitter. And Cito said, I don't care about that. You go out there. You only lead off once a game. After that, you follow the order. Go out there and play.
You know what I found interesting is you've been around hitting coaches who had talked about, okay, your hands have to be here. You have to, do this, and your feet and all this kind of stuff. That was never part of the equation here.
No, it wasn't. And you know what? We're not all robots.
Aaron Hill will tag Golson, and that's all they can get. And Golson just kind of stopped in the middle of the base path, and Jeter legged it out. So 2 force outs.
Yeah, the thing is, everybody's not a robot. Everybody's not going to hit the same way. And you have to utilize everyone's ability because the key to hitting is relaxation. And so if you're at the plate doing something you're uncomfortable doing because the hitting coach wants you to hit a certain way, then your mind is not on the pitcher, not on hitting the ball, it's on your mechanics. And when your mind is on the mechanics when you're hitting, you'll find yourself walking back to the dugout a lot of times.
With 2 outs, we hope you can join us for another half inning.
I'm here for a while.
Yeah, we got a lot of things to discuss, but Nick Swisher will hit with 2 outs. But to start the thought process, Cito Gaston's detractors will talk about, well, you look at the 92 team, look at the 93 team, anybody could have managed that team, but speak from a player's perspective of how he brought that team together.
The thing is, it's all about confidence, Buck. I look back, and I was talking to somebody earlier, and a good friend of mine, Bobby Beecham, was the #1 pick of the Cardinals.
Swisher drills it into center. That's in front of Wells. Jeter has to stop at second, but continue, Joe.
Back in 1981, he was #1 pick of the Cardinals. He was traded, I think, a year later to the Yankees. And so he played under George Steinbrenner. And so he was part of that Columbus shuttle where every time he made a mistake, he found himself being sent down to AAA. And so it got to the point where he was very uncomfortable because every time he'd look up there, he'd look in the box, and he was really intimidated and scared to make the plays. Cito is just the opposite because, you never know if you can get out of a situation if you're never put in that situation. And so with 2 outs and there's a left-hander up, you're a left-handed hitter at the bottom of the ninth, you're looking over your shoulder, say, is he going to pinch hit for me? He says, no. He says, you go out there and you play. And because I'm doing this for later on. And that's what he did. And so when people said he sat back and did not manage, no. He managed very efficiently, but it was very quietly, and it instilled confidence in each and every one of us.
Managing, I think, is managing personalities.
Right.
And you have to, and Cito's talked about this, that you have to manage different guys different ways.
Some people need a kick in the butt every now and then.
Yes, and some people have to be treated differently than other people. You're absolutely right, and I think that's a big part of what a manager has to do.
Teixeira bounces it to third. McDonald will step on the bag to force Jeter, and the Yankees strain the pair. Joe Carter will come back when we return to Rogers Center. The Blue Jays are up 3-0. stay with us for another half inning. And Joe, I'm sure from afar you've watched Jose Bautista's great year, and just give us your assessment of what he has done this year.
Well, you know, in this era, because you talked about the steroid errors and the performance enhancing, and now that they've been testing, so they're coming to clean the game up, to have a guy, I mean, what was his high before this
16.
year? 16. So to go from 16 to 50, I mean, is incredible, but it shows the confidence that he has and the ability. But the biggest thing is, when I see him hit, he stands back on the ball, and he's driving the ball, and he's not, you know, as a catcher, when the pitcher makes a mistake, you hit it out of the ballpark, and he's not missing the mistakes.
I assume you've been watching the Blue Jays a little bit this year.
Yes, I have. I have been watching a few times.
And you've studied him. What is he doing different this year in your mind?
You know, Tabby, the biggest thing is confidence. And you know, as a hitter, once you have confidence, I mean, you feel that you can do anything. I mean, when you're going through a bad time, you start to doubt yourself. And the biggest thing I tell anyone is that you have to believe in yourself. And so when you go to the plate, take the bad at bats, toss them away, and go out there and live on something good. Think about something good. And right now, he has all the confidence in the world. And once you've tasted success, I mean, you know what it feels like. You feel that you can do anything, and at any pitch, you can hit it out of the ballpark.
How about playing every day?
I mean, for me, that was the easy part.
Yeah.
You know, because you're not worried about a bad game, because you come back and play the next day. And so now he's playing every day, getting a chance to go out there and prove himself. And you talk about a breakout year, phenomenal year.
2-2 pitch.
Wow.
Tell me you caught that.
Right here.
Thank goodness that wasn't Bob.
Oh, man.
Hit it
Look at
way,
Nick.
Jose.
Look at Nick, Joe.
Hey, pull
Look
the
at
ball.
Look at Nick.
Oh. Pull the ball. Come on. He's not supposed to hit it over here.
That's better.
That was way too close. the tough part, yeah.
I
Do
was
we have
out
insurance?
I was out of here. Watch this.
That's the last guy I thought on the team who would hit one over here.
Yeah, me
the last
too.
one.
I wasn't even concerned about that.
The tough part was if it hits this railing, then it ricochets. Man. That's you just close your eyes and say.
You got to tell me, did you really catch it or did it catch you?
Well, the glove, I didn't have the glove on.
You didn't have
No, I didn't have the glove on. It was sitting in my lap. And so it went right in the glove, though.
Look out.
Here's another one, bud.
They're shooting at us now.
Like shooting fish in a barrel, huh?
They found out where we are.
They found the weak link.
They've been threatening to get back at me all year long.
Oh, man. Well, you know what? Hey, I need to leave because they missed.
Thank
Bobby
goodness you were sitting
that was
there.
Bobby then.
Bobby, you were gonzo, brother.
Oh, man.
If you were there, see ya.
That was close.
Close.
Yeah, that was, I mean.
I thought I was hit.
Woo. Oh, man, that would have been.
Look at this way. It won't happen again.
You know what? Hey. I'm going to act like a tree and get out of here.
What were we talking about anyway?
I have no idea. We're talking about how close it is over here.
Now, if Vernon hits one here, we know he's really shooting at us. He hasn't hit one to right in 5 years.
That sounds like me.
Or that way.
All right, hey, are we live?
Are we live?
Woo. Hey, they can't mess my golf hand up now.
Might have been one of those rings you have on.
Thought I took that one right in the mug.
Yeah.
Boom. Center field.
That's right.
Way to go, Vern.
Stay over there.
Yeah, keep the ball. Hey, keep the merry guys out of the infield, huh?
Woo. Okay, now got a lefty up, Joe. How are we going to play him?
Well, first of all, we're going to pitch him
away.
Yeah, hey, up and in, low and away.
Hard.
Yeah, hard. We're going to keep him away. Hits the ball less in the field. And Lyle can do that. But you got to watch them change-ups inside.
I have not taken my eye off the bat the rest of the game.
I don't even know where we are. Ground ball. Cano, second. Jeter for one. Back to first. Double play. Joe Carter, thank you very much, and thank you for catching that ball.
I love you guys, but I'm out of here.
All right.
I don't blame you.
Joe Carter, thanks a lot. Blue Jays, we played 3. They lead it 3-0.
Home Hardware or Home Hardware Building Center. Homeowners helping homeowners.
Back at Rogers Center, we'll start the top of the 4th inning. It'll be Alex Rodriguez stepping in. And as Reggie Jackson once said, they don't boo nobodies. So that's the standard welcome Alex Rodriguez gets when he's on the road. Breaking ball for a strike, Brett Cecil leading the Yankees 3-0. He's held the Yankees to 3 hits. Comes right back with another breaking ball.
Boy, he's got a good changeup tonight. He's got great arm speed on it, and it's really fooling the Yankees. One thing about Cecil this year, his August and September this year just shows you the type of pitcher he has become.
Bouncing ball, gloved by Cecil, plenty of time. Rodriguez is retired, 1-3.
Last year in August and September, his record was 3-3. Batters hit .319 against him, and his ERA was over 6. This year, though, he's 6-2 in these 2 months, and you can just see how more mature he is as a pitcher.
It's all about controlling what you can handle and what you can control, and your demeanor, your poise, your confidence, and your emotions. We had a great conversation with Bruce Walton today, looking back on Kyle Drabek's start last night. Robinson Cano. And Walton said that Drabek threw about 10 mad balls last night. And he says you need to get over throwing those mad balls. And obviously what he means by that is when you let your emotions overwhelm you, when you throw balls just without thinking about execution.
You're just going to try and throw it as hard as you can because you're so mad. And that's when you get out of your fundamentals, your rhythm, you get out of the way you throw a pitch. And Kyle had 10 of them last night. He doesn't want them to have any.
And Bruce Walton has done a great job with his young pitching staff. And here's a perfect example in Brett Cecil, how far he's come in 1 year. Bouncing ball up the middle, backhanded by Hill to Overbay in time to get Cano. Good play. The Jays second baseman gets the Yankees second baseman 2 outs.
You have to have a strong arm to be able to go to your right as a second baseman, throw across your body. Watch where he ends up, almost at shortstop. Backhands it. The momentum keeps taking him away, and he's right behind second base. It's an accurate and a good throw from Hill to end it.
2 outs. Marcus Timms, the DH. Fouls the first pitch off his foot. Timms came to the Yankees after a good career with the Tigers. He was part of that potent right-handed trio of Brandon Inge, Craig Monroe, and Marcus Timms. They went to the World Series, and he was an important cog in that offense.
A good veteran hitter like that. Surprised that the Tigers gave up on him. Let him go.
Well, they had some younger guys coming in and wanted to open up some opportunities for Brennan Bosch. Some of the other guys, Ryan Rayburn, didn't come along so effectively this year. Good fastball pushes Timms off the plate. It's all about timing, where you are in your contract. Maybe making too much money for the opportunities he was going to get.
That's the thought that I was just thinking about, is that's what sets the Yankees and the Red Sox and some of those other teams apart from mid-major teams, if you will. They could afford to have a Lance Berkman on the bench tonight, a Marcus Timms to play. Curtis Granderson is on the bench tonight. Jorge Posada. They can spend a lot of money for those veterans that they can use.
Another ground ball pulled foul. When you think of the addition of Kerry Wood and Austin Kearns mid-season, I mean, they're not young, inexpensive players. They're veterans that carry a hefty price tag. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Take a look at the Yankees and their success, and this is what it takes when you become a winning team. You have to pay your players.
Derek Jeter, over $200 million he has earned in his career. Worth every penny. Love the way he plays, but if you want to win.
Wow, and that's one thing. Isn't that interesting? Derek Jeter makes more money, or has made more money over his career to this point than Alex Rodriguez. And you never hear anybody question Derek Jeter's payroll.
Great point, because all they talk about is how much A-Rod makes.
But never an issue with Jeter. 2-2, 2 outs. Marcus Timms fouls it off. He's hanging tough. But that's the one thing that the Yankees can afford to do, is because of their market, the way they've marketed their team, great TV revenues, they can outspend their mistakes.
They can afford to make mistakes. Small market teams cannot.
Full count.
If you make a decision to give a guy a 5-year contract and pay him $15 million a year, you better get your money's worth.
Yankees just write it off as a bad investment. Full count, 2 outs. Marcus Timms. Blue Jays up 3-0. Pops this one up along the seats in the right side, and thankfully that's over our head.
I keep forgetting to watch the batter.
I'm watching the batter. I got you covered.
Well, that's not saying much.
I'll tell you when to duck. I didn't say I was going to catch it.
Oh, okay. But I keep looking at the monitor here, I got to stop.
No, I've gotten over that already. Another full count pitch. Drilled into center field. What's new? Marcus Timms has owned the Blue Jays this year, and he had some at bat right there.
Locked in against Brett Cecil. They tried a little bit of everything. They tried in, they tried up and away, they tried change-ups, they tried breaking balls, and he was on everything.
Well, we mentioned the Yankees and their problems against left-handed starters. They've lost 8 straight games to left-handed starters, and the potential matchups in the postseason. If you're playing Texas, you see Cliff Lee, C.J. Wilson, games 1 and 2. You face the Twins, you face Francisco Liriano in 1 and Brian Dunsing in 3. And if you face Tampa Bay in the ALCS, the big guy, David Price, you might see him 3 times.
And that's why we mentioned it the last time Austin Kearns was at the plate. That Timms and Kearns are important. A-Rod's going to get his, and Teixeira's going to get his, and Jeter. But it's the other guys. They have to chip in and help out.
Well, there's another good changeup. Evens the count at a ball and a strike. Jeter's bounced back a little bit of late, hitting over 300 for his last 10, 12 games.
6 multi-hit games in his last 14.
But you know, it was just last year that Alex Rodriguez finally had a good postseason. So you can shut him down again with maybe some tough left-handed pitching. Jam shot to second base. Hill will step on the bag, and the Yankees are retired in the 4th. We have been visited by Joe Carter. We're going to visit with Pat Henkin a little bit later. It's Thank You Cedar Night at Rogers Center.
.40-inch Sharp Aquos, Quatron TV, and Blu-ray player. Quatron has 4 colors, not 3. To enter, visit hitahomerunwithsharp.ca.
4th inning, it'll be Aaron Hill, Adam Lind, and John Buck. John Buck's already gone deep once tonight. Blue Jays have hit 2 home runs and set a new franchise record in home runs in a season. Now 246 home runs. Javier Vasquez getting the start tonight. As Pat mentioned earlier, Vasquez has spent most of the season in the rotation and lost his spot. Worked out of the bullpen a few times. When Vasquez was with the Yankees in 2004, he was supposed to replace Roger Clemens and Andy Pettitte, who left the team, and he had a pretty good first half of the season, but a terrible second half, and then left the ball club after 1 year.
And there was some doubt when they traded for him. Like, what Javier Vasquez are we going to get? The one that pitched for the Yankees. He did win 14 games the year he pitched for the Yankees in 2004, but his ERA was about 5. Went to Arizona. Also pitched for the White Sox and had a great year last year for Atlanta. 15 wins with an ERA under 3. Now, pitching in the National League, I think, is a lot different than pitching in the American League.
No question about it. And Javier Vasquez has found that out twice in his career. He pitched very well for the Braves, and in fact, the Braves wanted to keep him. What they wanted to do, ideally, was trade Derek Lowe. And the Yankees didn't have much interest in Lowe, and they decided to take Vasquez, and in the end, I don't know if it really worked out. Adam Lind. But first, a toss to first base.
He has had his moments, Javier Vasquez. I remember a game he pitched here at Rogers Center. He threw 7 innings and gave up just 2 runs and had 9 strikeouts, which is a season high for him. I mean, he was dealing that day.
Having trouble finding the strike zone here in the 4th.
His career has always been built on great control. When he was with the Expos, he had great seasons where he was up over 200 innings pitched, and he doesn't walk anybody. He had a season for Montreal in 2001 when he threw 223 innings and walked 40.
Cervelli's going to come out and see if he can help Vasquez get back in the zone. He was an outstanding young pitcher with the Expos, and you thought he was going to really develop in a big winner, but never had many seasons where he was more than a couple of games over 500.
His career high in wins is 16. That's when he was with Montreal. But you could always count on for 220, 230 innings pitched. Lots of strikeouts, very few walks. And he always took the ball.
And that's very valuable for a manager, knowing exactly what you're going to get. Still battling that command, 3-0. Yankees have big concerns under their rotation. CC Sabathia was great last night, but he right now is the only really known entity for the Yankees. There's a strike. Phil Hughes has been up and down, and I just question when they shut him down middle of the season, they took him out of the rotation to conserve on his innings pitched, and he never really got back into form.
You know, if you want to do that, why don't you just take him out an inning or two earlier for a couple of starts? You know, keep him on the rotation, and something the Blue Jays have done this year.
Just limit his innings to 5 or 6 a game and just let him continue to pitch every 5th day.
How many times have we heard the pitchers for the Blue Jays say, I love to stay on a routine, and I get into my routine, pitching every 5 days, your arm stays in shape. To completely shut a guy down for 10 days and then try to restart it. You know, you've been injured before. You know what it's like trying to come back from an injury.
There goes Hill at first. The ball is hit like a rocket past Jeter. Hill will go all the way around to third base. Jeter was covering the bag at second, and the ball was hit back in the hole at short. He couldn't recover in time, but what a shot by Adam Lind.
When you have a batter who can hit the ball all over the field, you have to guess right. If the guy starts the runner and he takes off, you have to guess right. The Yankees don't. Jeter starts to go to the bag and he hits it right by him as Cito Gaston starts the runner. Aaron Hill, and he can just jog into third base, going first to third on that single.
Blue Jays threatening in the 4th. Already up 3 runs. Hill with the walk, Lind with the single. John Buck has homered. Pickoff attempt, but Hill was back in time. Cervelli came out of the chute. Saw he had no play on Hill.
That was a set play put up by the Yankees, because as soon as Vasquez started in his windup to go to home plate, Alex Rodriguez from third base broke towards the bag. Throw the ball up and away, and you try and pick off that runner.
Good cut by Buck. Take a look at the Yankees rotation if you're thinking about the postseason and how they might match up. There's CC and Hughes. They have combined to win 38 games. The rest of the team has won 34, but they've lost 33.
ERA of about 5, and A.J. Burnett's been inconsistent. Vasquez has been inconsistent.
John Buck hits Vasquez, goes to second for the force out, and Cano was thinking about a double play. That got a lot of flesh on Vasquez. You could hear it from here.
Yeah, it certainly looked like it, and it certainly sounded like it. The ball was smoked by John Buck. It looked like it hit him in the right arm.
Yeah, he's pointing to his right forearm, and Steve Donahue, the assistant trainer, out to talk to him. He says he's all right. He's going to throw a pitch or two. This is a line drive right back to the mound.
Well, you have to be ready in a fielding position when a ball like that comes right back at you. But he's got the presence of mind to pick it up and get that lead runner and keep the double play in order.
Javi Vasquez is an old pro, and he understands it to knock the ball down, but he got smoked on that right forearm. Obviously, it's going to be okay right now. He says he's fine, but boy, that thing, if it hits you on the meaty part of your forearm, it's going to be awfully sore. And you move your hand and feel all those tendons moving inside there. When the blood gets in there, that's going to stiffen up quickly.
We'll watch him in between innings, what happens to him if they put ice on it. But the Yankees, precautionary reasons, have the bullpen going.
So there are still runners at first and third. One out, John McDonald. Hit a double his last time up. Jonathan Albaladejo is throwing. We would expect Javier Vasquez, even if he didn't get hit by that line drive, go maybe 4 or 5 innings. Bouncing ball. Jeter, second for one, no throw back to first. Hill comes in to score. McDonald will get an RBI.
Yankees defense, one of the best in the American League. Fewest errors, and they've turned a ton of double plays, but that time with McDonald running hard, he credited himself with an RBI.
23 ribbies now for John McDonald. Travis Snyder is 2 for 2. He's homered and singled and driven home 2 runs and still wearing the mustache. Might want to go back in and dress it up a little more. What a swing. He looks hitterish now, doesn't he?
Hitterish. You know, earlier when he came back off the disabled list, he looked stiff and he looked slow. Now it's like his feet are a little bit closer together. The bat isn't as high. Remember how high he had his bat when he first came back? It looks like it's right off of his shoulders now. And he looks very quick through the zone.
And you know what? Pitchers can see that. When a guy steps in the box and he's got confidence, we've seen it all year with Jose Bautista, but you look in there and you can see the focus, the concentration. And pitchers can pick up on that. Makes you wonder where you have to throw the ball to get a guy out. Another high, long drive. This ball is hooking foul. Check in with Sam Cosentino.
Well, guys, I saw Travis Snyder down in the tunnel just previous to this at bat. I looked at him. I said, what about the stash? He said, oh, yeah, I'm keeping it. So don't be surprised if you get to Minnesota and see that thing still intact tomorrow.
He's going to show me something if he wears that on the Chargers.
That would be the ultimate tribute to Cito Gaston. Bouncing ball, gloved by Vasquez. Snyder's retired for the first time tonight, but the Blue Jays add a run, 4-0. When we come back to Rogers Center, the 1996 Cy Young Award winner, Pat Henkin, will join us to talk Cito Gaston.
May I suggest this for this interview this time around?
You got 3 of them?
Throw in the chest protector, too.
I'm telling you what, Pat, you saw that shot, and you asked me if Joe Carter made the play? What do you think?
I didn't see Buck, I didn't see it. I heard he caught a foul ball, and I saw him after the math. But
let's say the foul ball caught him.
Oh, okay, there you go.
But I'm glad it was him and not me, because I wouldn't have moved that quickly.
I'm telling you.
Great to have you here, Pat, and obviously a very special night for a lot of you former players to acknowledge Cito Gaston.
Oh, yeah, it's been great, Buck. I mean, you know, this organization's been great to me, and I'm proud to be part of it.
When you think back to the impact, Cito Gaston always had an impact on the hitters, but how did he affect you as a pitcher, part of those championship years?
You know, it's funny. I had a game in Detroit where I threw up a changeup the night before, and I give up a home run, and I was in the dugout early running, and he said, "What's wrong, Pat?" And I said, you know, every time I throw that changeup, they hit it out. And he said, "Listen to me, Pat." He said, "You're going to mark my words." He said, "You're going to thank me for this." And I said, "What's that?" And he said, "Keep throwing it. Keep throwing it." And he said, you know, he goes, "You keep throwing that, it's going to prolong your career." And he was right. About 1999, 2000, I started really mastering the changeup, and it really prolonged my career and got that separation between my fastball and fastball and change.
Did he ever talk to you about, from a hitter's perspective, how you pitch? Like, hey, Pat, you're falling into a pattern, or I think you should do this, or maybe you're tipping your pitches a little bit.
Great goal, Tabby. Drills at the center. Vernon Wells gets back. Cervelli all the way to second base. Will have to retreat. Good play by Wells.
Tabby, you're right. He came up to me one time in Detroit and he said, "Listen," he says, "I got all your pitches." And I said, "No, you don't." And he said, "Yes, I do." And he said, "Alomar's got him too." He says, "Robbie's going to take you in center field and prove it." So we went out to center field here at the Dome, and I had a flat mound or flat field, and I don't remember who the catcher was, and Robbie called all my pitches, and I said, "You know what? Dave Stewart and Jack Morris were going with their hands down on their belt." And I said, "You know what? I'm going to change my mechanics, and I'm going to start going to the belt here, and I'm not going to go over my head." What I was doing is I was flaring my glove on the breaking ball over my head. And at that time, I was a two-pitch pitcher. So, you know, he was saving me, really. I mean,
but that's the kind of impact a former hitter can have.
Oh, exactly. I mean, you know, Cito, all the guys I played with always said he was a great hitting coach. You know, one of the best hitting coaches they ever had. So, very complimentary.
When you think about this organization and how Cito is leaving this organization, how would you say the state of the team is as he is set to leave?
Well, you know, I like the 4 young starters they have. There's no question about that. Then you add in the fact that they got Drabek and they got Zach Stewart and they got some other guys like Jesse Litch and Dustin McGowan that are on the DL. I mean, there's a lot of depth there, and I really like the fact that they have not 5 good starters. I think they can go as far deep as maybe 7 or 8 good starters. And you know, as you know, you guys played, you need a lot of starting pitching. It's very difficult to answer that bell every 5th day. You know, when you got 5 good starters, that's great, but it's really nice to have 7 or 8.
Sticking with that theme about starting pitching, you've had a chance to see some of the other youngsters down in the farm system. Did you get to go anywhere this summer to watch any of the kids that they drafted?
You know what? I had that accident with the funnel, and I never ended up getting to go to Double-A, so I never got to see Drabek. I did go to the Florida State League. I did get to see that rotation there. They got a guy named Carreño there. He's got a really nice Frisbee-type slider. It reminds me of David Cohn's. He's got that swing and miss slider. He's got a really nice sweeper. Now, he's getting a lot of guys outside the strike zone, so I don't know if his ball is going to play at the higher level because you got to get guys out in the strike zone up here. But, boy, is he really dominating A-ball with a lot of punch-outs and a lot of great games. Jenkins, I saw pitch, the first-rounder from a couple years ago. Got the power sinker, the great body. I think that Chad, he'll be fine. I think he's going to be a good player. But right now, they got depth here. They got good starting pitching, and I really like what they're doing here.
It's too bad you're not enthusiastic about your job.
Yeah, well, you know me. I love talking pitching, Buck. We go way back, and Tabby. You know, I love talking shop, and it's just fun.
Speaking of that, I remember a comment I heard not too long ago how Sean Markham talked about you adding a cutter to his mix in spring training, showing him how to hold that cutter in spring training. Is that something that you gained from the Jimmy Keys and the Jack Morrises and the Roger Clemens as you were coming up as a young guy?
You know, actually, the cut fastball was taught to me in 1996 by Mel Queen. And Mel told me, listen, he says, on days that you can't get your curveball over, you struggle. And I said, you're right. And he said, listen, he says, I got a pitch you can throw. It's easy on your arm. It's really easy to manipulate the ball. You off-center the fastball, and you throw a cut fastball, and it's going to be a nice weapon for you. And he was right. He was dead on. And when I saw Markham in spring training, I told him, I said, listen, he says, how'd you hold your cutter? And I showed him. And he said to me, he says, I said, listen, I said, don't throw it in the game. I said, throw it on flat ground, maybe work it in the bullpen and see how it goes. The next day, this guy comes up to me and he says, hey, I threw it in the game. And I said, in the game? He goes, oh, yeah. He goes, I got 2 outs on it. And I knew right then that Markham was a guy that could adjust. He could make pitch after pitch and make adjustments as he goes.
When you came up, Dave Steve was here, and Jimmy Key and Todd Stottlemyre. They were the veterans, and you were the young guy. Then as your career passed, how important is it to pass the baton from the veteran to the young pitcher?
I always looked at it like this. I felt like the better I can make guys around me, the better our team's going to do. So for me, the Roy Halladay's of the world when he came up in '98, the Chris Carpenters, the Kelvin Escobars, I tried to help these guys because I knew that I was treated, first of all, when I got called up, guys to help me. So I felt like, exactly, Tabby, I felt like I needed to pass on the baton. And I felt like I wasn't worried about them taking my job. I was confident enough to where I knew I was going to stay. And it was a matter of getting guys to get better around you. And I think that's what a leader is, a guy that makes people around him better.
Do you see that on this pitching staff?
I do. And I think that Markham and Cecil and Romero and Morrow and Drabek and, all these guys, they all have that competitive edge where it's like they want to do better than the guy that pitched the day before. And I think that's what we had in '92 and '93.
That's awesome. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Nick Swisher. Full count. Tony La Russa, your manager in St. Louis, has kind of a shrine, he calls it, in his office. And I know I'm going to embarrass you a little bit, but he has acknowledged that you're one of the guys that he has managed that he looks up to. And talk about being honored like that by such a great man as Tony La Russa, and a very successful manager, much like Cito Gaston.
I spent that 1 year with Tony, and I guess, when you make a good influence on someone, it's an honor for me to have my jersey hung up in Tony's office. There's no question. I learned a lot by playing for him. I learned one thing, and the most important thing is that he made every guy on our team feel like they were part of it, whether they were the 25th guy or the best guy on the team. When I played there in 2000, he made our 25th guy on our roster like he was part of our club and he was going to win the game for us. And I really think that goes a long ways with being a good big league manager, is making everybody feel involved.
Over in front of the dugout, Overbay cuts in front. And the Yankees go down. They strand a couple of runners. Pat, you can hang around for another half inning?
If you'd like.
Love it. Press conference. He wanted to make sure he had a chance to congratulate Cito Gaston on this thank you, Cito night.
Classy. And Cito Gaston then returned that in his speech, thanking the Yankees, knowing that they were waiting for the ball game and thanking them, and then talked about modeling the Blue Jays for what the Yankees have done over the years.
Yeah, he acknowledged the great tradition of the Yankees, and the Yankees to a man were in the dugout during the entire celebration, paying homage to Cito Gaston. Pretty good tribute, Pat.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the best compliment I can give Cito is that he was a class act from day one. The day I met him till today, and he'll continue to be that way. And he's a great ambassador for this organization. I try to talk him into staying another year.
Me too.
Yeah.
I think Linda has the upper hand in that conversation, though.
Yeah, good call.
Yeah.
You're right.
Junel Escobar will lead off the bottom of the 5th. 4-0 Blue Jays. Javier Vasquez still in the ball game. He was hit on the forearm on a comebacker off the bat of Adam Lind. Right on that right forearm. (2-0) to Escobar. Pat, talk about your involvement with the club, and might you expand that involvement?
You know what? I mean, this year was kind of a trial and error thing. I came in as a guest coach a couple years ago, and it's kind of evolved to this point. This past spring, Doug Davis, the farm director, asked me to visit each affiliate this year once a month, AAA, AA, A-ball, all 3 A-ball teams, and had that accident with the funnel. I ended up making 3 of the visits, but I missed out on 2 of them. But it's been great. I mean, I go down there, I work with the pitchers. In Lansing, for instance, I filled in as the pitching coach when the pitching coach was on his 4-day vacation. So it's been a great experience for me. I feel like I can communicate well with these guys, and I think that, I think I'm, in a small way, I make a difference.
Oh, I would agree with that. Just having you around and talking with so much enthusiasm and knowledge. And we better explain what the funnel thing is. People are going to wonder about that. That you stepped on a funnel in your garage in an accident and punctured your foot, so you were out of commission for a while.
Yeah, exactly. It was a bad puncture, and I ended up on crutches for 5 weeks, so it was really tough to fill in as a pitching coach. It's a physical position, as you well know, and it was very difficult for me to get there and travel and do those things.
When you went to spring training, were you, as a guest coach, did you just stay in the minor leagues, or were you in big league camp at all?
Well, you know what? Arnsberg, when he was here as a pitching coach, he had called me during the winter, and he said, listen, I want you in big league camp. He said, listen, all our best prospects are on the 40-man. I'd rather have you here. And that's kind of how that went down. I ended up going to big league camp 2 years ago. This past spring with Bruce, he said the same thing. He said, listen, I'd rather have you in big league camp. So I ended up going to big league camp for the majority of the time. But I did sneak down over at the other complex for about 5 days.
Which one did you like better? Did you like working with the youngsters who didn't know anything about pitching? Or did you like the more polished pitcher?
I think I like the more polished pitcher. I really do. I like the fact that it's more of a mental grind up here. It's a mental game up here. I think most of the guys got good mechanics and good deliveries. Where in the minor leagues, you're more about the fundamentals of just getting in the right spot and getting your hand out in front and throwing the ball downhill. So for me, I like both, but if I had to pick, I'd like the older player, the more polished guy.
No, I think that's where you have the most impact. And sitting around, as you said so often, talking shop with Chris Carpenter and Roger Clemens and those guys, I think that's where you can make the biggest difference, because when it comes from somebody that has lived it like you have, younger pitchers will listen.
Right. You know what else is neat is, too, when I went to Vegas, JP was there in Sebia. I had a nice conversation with JP. It was fun. I talked to him about, and Buck, as a catcher, you know how important it is as a catcher to really get the best out of your starting pitcher. Whether it's a mental thing where you're pumping them up and making them feel good, or you're lighting a fire, whatever you need to do, you need to be a sports psychologist behind the plate. And what a leader that JP was in that AAA staff. I mean, guys really like to throw to him. When I was in the bullpen in AAA, I would pick those guys' brains down there because I wanted to get a feel for what they thought of JP and how they liked throwing to him. And, some of the pros and cons. And there weren't a lot of cons, I got to tell you. And, talking to JP, I explained to him how important it was and how when I was a starting pitcher, I would come in and I was anxious to see that starting lineup. It had nothing to do with who was playing the positions.
There goes Escobar, another ball hit into play. Junior has to go to first.
Sorry, Buck. It was all about who was catching that night. Because that type of thing can put a pitcher into a mood that can make a difference.
In what way? How they call the game, how they frame pitches, how they work with the umpire?
I think all of the above, but most importantly, just knowing you and having that, working relationship with a guy that you really get to feel where he puts down that sign and you look in and you go, yeah, that's right, let's do it. And, you have that feeling, and it's just a great feeling for a pitcher to have that confidence.
Who did you have that feeling with most often?
Well, I would say right off the bat, Charlie O'Brien comes to mind. But I thought Pat Borders was great at that as well. I liked throwing to Pat, and it was a great, for me, I didn't like to shake off a lot, so I really like to get to know my catcher, talking to him on the 4 days in between when I wasn't pitching. So he knew what I felt when I was out there, and I think it makes a big difference. I really do.
Little pop up into shallow center. Cano back and makes the catch. Wells is retired. Well, Pat Borders is much like you. When he commits to a ball game, you get everything he's got.
Oh, I know. He was fun, wasn't he? He was like a 5-foot piece of fence back there. Couldn't get a ball by him.
We're talking with Pat Henkin, who's here for Thank You Cito Night, and he's kind enough to stay an extra half inning with us. And how good was it to see some of your old teammates and some guys that you've played with and against in the past?
That's great. You know, I mean, it's been awesome. I was just here for the Dave Steep thing, and it was great seeing those guys again. And, you know, one of the guys that I really got to like is George Bell. And I never got to play with George other than spring training. But, you know, when a guy gives another player a compliment like this, it really goes a long ways with me. A friend of mine told me that George didn't care if he went 0 for 4 or 4 for 4 as long as the team won. And, boy, what a compliment you can give a player, a co-player. And this came from a guy that didn't give a lot of compliments, Dave Steep. Yeah.
And when they played together, the feeling was that they didn't have much respect for one another, but that wasn't the case at all. They respected exactly what the other did.
Exactly, and that's what Dave told me. Dave said George is a great teammate, and he really wanted to win. And I never got to play with him, but those are the types of guys that I'd love to play with.
He was a winner. There's no question about that. He would do anything he could to win a ball game for you.
Do you feel like the players nowadays are like George Bell?
Oh, I think that there's players like that, of course. I really do. I mean, you know, people say, well, the players change this and that, but the bottom line is the game is still the game out here. And you know, the guys might make more money now, but, you know, they said that when I played in the 90s versus the guys in the 80s versus the 70s. I mean, you can just keep going back from decade to decade. And the bottom line is it's a great game. It's a super competitive, fast game, and people lose grasp of how quick it is. If you come down here and sit where we are, you realize how fast it is.
You get a quick reminder, don't you?
You really do.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's a real good lesson to come back down here and get on field level again.
It is. And when I went to the minor leagues, I kept thinking to myself, why is the infield grass so long? How come the ball's taking forever to get to the infielders? I realized that it was just the thump in the bat.
Yeah.
It wasn't the big league swing. It wasn't the big league bat where the ball jumps off the big league hitter's bat. Majority of the minor league hitters don't hit the ball as hard, so therefore the ball doesn't get to the infielders quick enough. And I thought, boy, this game's a little slow. And then you come here and you're like, oh boy, now I remember. Yeah, the game's quick.
2-2, 2 outs. Bounced and blocked by Cervelli.
I know the game's fast up here when you're standing around the batting cage and the BP pitcher looks fast.
Yeah, exactly.
Then you know you've been away from the game too long.
No kid, you're right.
Probably the biggest gap in the history of the game between the talent level in AAA and the major leagues.
Yeah, that's a great point, Buck. Guys ask me all the time, what was the toughest jump? I said the toughest jump's from Syracuse to Toronto, and now Vegas to Toronto. There's no question about it.
Full count, Lyle Overbay, 2 outs. Blue Jays lead 4-0. Bottom of the 5th inning. Overbay takes the walk. Well, Pat, and that was pointed out when we were talking with Bruce Walton. I know you and Bruce are very close, and he was watching a side session with Kyle Drabek, and Drabek's throwing changeups, and they're about knee-high. Bruce kept saying, get it down. He goes, it is down. No, it's not.
Yeah.
The difference between hitters up here and hitters in Double-A is pretty dramatic.
It is, and you can really get overexposed here as a starting pitcher if you're not making good quality pitches in that second and third time through the lineup. And that's what Bruce is trying to instill in Drabek, is, you know, getting that ball down, making quality pitches one after another, trying to stop overthrowing. That's what all young hard throwers do. And it's one of the things I talk to the pitchers about, is that you don't need to overthrow. You know, think about taking a deep breath and locating. And those are the things that I learned from Greg Maddux. Those are the things I went watching Dave Stewart and watching David Cohn. You know, I threw a little harder than Dave Stewart, but his command was better than mine, and his results were better. So, to me, I thought, boy, I need to get to that part of my game. I need to get that better and increase my control.
You've had a chance to watch all these starters this season for the Blue Jays. and they've had great success. Do you think they're going to need to, I don't want to say reinvent themselves next year, but do you think they're going to have to change a little bit next year because of the success they had this year?
Well, I think that most good players that play in the league for a while, they're making adjustments not only year to year, but sometimes start to start, sometimes pitch to pitch. And you know, like a guy like Romero with the power fastball and great change, he's probably going to just be fine because his stuff is great. Morrow, same thing. Cecil's got an electric slider. I loved his slider when they signed him. I thought of Al Leiter. As soon as I saw him, I thought, boy, he looks just like Al Leiter. Everything's cutting into the righty. And Sean with his pinpoint control and great changeup, you know, I don't know if these guys are going to have to make that many adjustments coming into 11 because they're young and they're kind of on the upside, going uphill.
Just get to a point where they can repeat that every time they go to the mound.
Exactly, Buck. You know, being consistent, keeping your team in the game, that's the key.
2-0, Aaron Hill swings and drives it to left field. This ball's got a chance. This ball is gone. 26th home run of the season for Aaron Hill. A 3-run shot. 7-0 Blue Jays.
You fall behind home run hitters, and you've got to come to them, and they're going to make you pay. Nobody loves it more than that man right there, Cito Gaston, his hitters taking off tonight. Breaking ball, hang job right there from Vasquez. Aaron Hill puts his head down because he knows he got all of it. He's hit plenty in his career to know when he's hit a home run.
3 more home runs tonight for the record-setting Blue Jays. They have knocked Javier Vasquez out of the game. 7-0 Jays. Hit the third Blue Jay home run of the night. They have now hit 247 home runs for the season. Royce Ring, the new pitcher for the Yankees, throws the first pitch strike to Adam Lind.
Just 3 appearances for Royce Ring. Spent the season down at AAA level for the New York Yankees. He has pitched for the Mets and the Padres, the Braves. He was actually selected by the Chicago White Sox as a first-round draft pick back in 2002.
This pitching change is brought to you by Home Hardware. Homeowners helping homeowners. 2-2 to Adam Lind. 7-0 Blue Jays, and a pretty interesting night on Thank You Cedar night that the hitters are thanking him for a great offensive season.
Doing what they do best, hitting the home run.
Bouncing ball to third. Blue Jays are retired in the 5th. Pat Henkin, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your thoughts tonight. American League. Well, in the major leagues, the Astros with 249. The Mariners' 1997 club hit 264 home runs.
We have watched home run after home run leave the ballpark this year. I can't imagine what it's like. 264. That's 17 more than what the Blue Jays have now. Travis Snyder with number 13 tonight. That must have been a fun season.
Little tapper out in front of home. John Buck tried to keep it fair, but he couldn't do that. Alex Rodriguez 0 for 2 tonight. Rodriguez trying to extend his streak of 30 home runs, 100 RBIs to 13 straight. Fly ball deep left field, and he's just done it. Home run number 30 for Alex Rodriguez.
He must have been listening to you.
I didn't talk too loud, did I?
30 home runs and 100 RBIs now for A-Rod.
The fans have thrown the ball back onto the field, but what a tremendous streak of consistency for Alex Rodriguez.
That ball, he just pulls his hands in. It shows you the great power that he has. A long arching home run to left field. He's now driven in 100 runs while playing fewer than 140 games each of the last 3 seasons.
Last year, Rodriguez hit 2 home runs and drove in 7 on the final day, and Brett Cecil just hit Robinson Cano. It's kind of suspicious after a home run, but they've been pitching Cano in all year long.
Yeah, they've been pitching fastballs in and then trying to keep the changeup in on them also. A-Rod, impressive. Homer now 5 of his last 6 games. Here's the ball. Pitch Cano. Do you know that is the first time this season that Brett Cecil has hit a batter?
Timing wasn't real good.
No.
After a guy hits a home run, you hit your first batter of the season. But Robinson Cano, if there is one guy that you want to pitch to this year on the Yankees team, that's Cano. They've handled him very well. Cano's aboard. Marcus Timms 1 for 2. We mentioned that 97 team for Seattle. There's a pop-up into shallow right field. Bautista over near the line makes the catch. The 1997 Mariners have the record for home runs. They hit 264. Lou Piniella was the manager. They went 90 and 72, first in the AL West. Alex Rodriguez had 23 home runs on that team. Ken Griffey Jr. had 56. Jay Buhner had 40. Paul Sorrento had 31. Edgar Martinez had 28. And just to top off the 20s, Russ Davis had 20.
Russ Davis, the third baseman.
Dan Wilson was the catcher. He had 15 homers.
Forgot about some of those players.
Yeah, that's an interesting team. Griffey, Buhner, Edgar Martinez. A-Rod was a young shortstop. Paul Sorrento played first, had 31 homers and 80 RBIs. Pretty potent team.
That must have been a lot of fun, because we've had a lot of fun this year watching the ball fly out of the ballpark off the bat of the Blue Jays.
The 2005 Rangers hit 260 home runs. They were led that year by Mark Teixeira. Teixeira had 43 homers and 144 RBI.
Was that the year their infield, they all had like 30 home runs?
24, I believe. Let's see. Young had 24. Soriano had 36. Blaylock had 25.
Okay.
They all had 24 or more. Barajas, the catcher, had 21, and David DeLucci had 29. It's a pretty potent lineup. Problem with that team, they went 79 and 83 for Buck Showalter. Two balls and a strike, 1 out. Austin Kearns now with a 3-1 count. Brett Cecil pitching in the 6th inning. Gave up the first run of the ball game on Alex Rodriguez's 30th home run of the season. Now there's 2 aboard with 1 out as Kearns takes the walk.
You could win an all-new Honda CRZ and other great prizes when you vote for the Honda Play of the Month. Vote today at BlueJays.com.
Bruce Walton, the pitching coach, has come out to get Cecil back in the groove again. Comfortable lead. He hit Cano after the home run to Alex Rodriguez, then have Timms to pop up, and now he's walked Austin Kearns. The catcher, Francisco Cervelli, will bat with 2 on.
One of the things they want to concentrate on with Brett Cecil is, does he stay over the rubber long enough? They feel like if he starts floating towards home plate, he doesn't get that arm up quick enough, and then he starts missing his spots. Stay back just a little bit longer, get that arm up, and work on that downward plane.
Cervelli cuts on the fastball and fouls it over the screen. Cervelli's got a couple of hits tonight. He is the backup catcher to Jorge Posada. Posada caught in last night's game. Cervelli got off to a great start driving in runs. He's cooled off a bit in the second half, but he's having a good night tonight.
I remember the first time we saw him, I believe he was hitting something like 350 with runners in scoring position, just really picking up the Yankees' lower lineup.
Brett Cecil struggling a bit here in the 6th inning. Jason Frazier, the right-hander, starts to loosen up. (7-1) Blue Jays lead. Base hit right field. Bautista gets over and cuts it off. 1 run will come in to score. Cano's in it to score. Kearns goes first to third, and Cervelli has his 3rd hit. 7-2 Blue Jays.
It looks nice and short, does Cervelli at the plate tonight against Brett Cecil. Not trying to do too much with the ball. A couple of singles to center field, and that time stayed on that ball nicely. Tries to go away. And slashes it to right field. Good play by Bautista in right field to knock that ball down and get it back in quickly. Keep the double play in order.
Subtle plays in the outfield that kept Kearns from scoring, and now ground ball. You might get out of the infield. Get out of the inning with a double play. Greg Golson hammered the ball to center field his last time up. Brendan Wells made a nice running catch on the warning track. Golson cuts on the fastball. 0-2.
You know what's been impressive about Cecil this year is talked about him pitching so well against the American League East, but he has got a great record against the Yankees this year, 3-0. This is his 5th start against New York. He also has a winning record and a good ERA against Boston. He's 3-1 against Tampa.
Little fly ball into center field. This is trouble. This is a base hit. Kearns will come in to score. Cervelli moves to second. 3 runs in this inning. Cito Gaston quickly out of the dugout. He's already made the call to the bullpen. So the Yankees, ignited by Alex Rodriguez's leadoff home run in the 6th, have knocked Brett Cecil out of this ball game. He will go 5 1/3. Frazier comes out of the bullpen for the 68th time. Frazier has handled Derek Jeter pretty effectively.
Yeah, he certainly has in his career. Derek Jeter has faced Jason Frazier 23 times, and he's only been able to get 4 hits against him. Frazier has been pitching some great baseball of late. Cito Gaston has used him in the 6th inning, in the 7th. He's also chipped in with 4 saves. His last 8 2/3 have been scoreless. Here trying to pick up tonight's starter, Brett Cecil.
So Cecil will leave the game with 2 runners on his responsibility. He'll look to Jason Frazier to strand those runners. Cecil looking for his 15th win of the season. Derek Jeter 1 for 3 tonight. 1 out. Fastball down and away.
One of the things that Frazier has been doing so well, there are the numbers that we just talked about. Derek Jeter versus Jason. He has been pitching very effectively off of his fastball. He's been keeping it down, really attacking hitters with that good fastball, and then putting them away with his changeup and his little cut slider.
Jeter lays off the high fastball, 2-0. Frazier seems to have recaptured his velocity here in the last 6 weeks or so. Consistently thrown 93, 94.
When he stays back and he stays on top of the ball, and that ball comes out of there very quickly. I think it surprises some of the hitters that a guy of his stature can really pump that ball in there. Gets on you very quickly.
Doesn't have an exaggerated delivery, not a lot of action coming at you, and the ball gets on you pretty quickly. 2 balls, no strikes, 2 on, 1 out. Foul back. Yankees trying to get back in this ball game. Tampa Bay has lost again tonight. Kevin Millwood of the Orioles, the winning pitcher. Koji Uehara saved the game. Orioles win 2-0. Jeff Neiman was the starting pitcher for Tampa Bay, and Tampa Bay, much like the Yankees, a little concerned about the starting pitchers after David Price.
Kevin Millwood, win number 4. 7 shutout innings against Tampa.
Jeter spoils a good pitch. We need that guy down here with us. Somebody made a great catch up there, Bob.
Let's make a trade.
We'll make a trade. We'll give you Bob Layden and a bag of popcorn for that guy to sit down here in the big comfy chair.
Here's the popcorn. Right here. Go take that up there to him, really. Bobby.
Come on, Bob. Let's swing that deal, will you? I saw that was a good catch. You never had a chance to catch one like that. Two balls and 2 strikes. Cervelli at second, Golson at first for Derek Jeter. Full count. This is where the Yankees become dangerous. Turn the lineup over and give them a chance, and they will cash in.
They scored 6 runs last night, and none of the runs they scored in the ballgame last night came via a hit, an RBI hit. They had some sacrifice flies, a couple of ground outs, a bases loaded walk, and you're right. This is what the Yankees do to really put rallies together. They'll throw in a walk here and there. If you make an error, it always seems like they take advantage of that.
This inning, they took advantage of a hit batter. Robinson Cano was hit after Alex Rodriguez went deep. Cano came in to score. Then Kearns walked. He also scored. An opportunistic offense. Full count. Another foul back. Jeter's hanging tough.
He sets the tone for the offense also as the leadoff batter, the captain of his team. I mean, he has always made that pitcher work. If you're going to get him out, you've got to make a good pitch to him.
On the ground, through the right side, into right field. Cervelli will stop at third. That was a patented Derek Jeter at bat, spoiling some good pitches and works the base hit into right.
And another multi-hit game for Derek Jeter. That's 7 of them now in his last 15 games. He's starting to warm up. As the playoffs begin next week, Jeter is starting to swing the bat like we have seen him in the past. Shooting that ball through on the right side.
And now the dangerous switch hitter, Nick Swisher. Swisher's had some success against Jason Frazier. He's 5 for 14. On deck, Mark Teixeira. On the ground, should be 2. Hill to Escobar at second for 1. Back to Overbay, double play. Jason Frazier gets the double play off the bat of Nick Swisher. The Yankees score 3, but the Jays still lead by 4. Gives up 9 hits to the Yankees, but he leaves with the lead.
A little bit like his last start against Baltimore when he pitched into the 7th inning, gave up 11 hits, spaced those around, gave up just 2 earned runs. But you're right, he is in line for win number 15, which would lead the club. Jason Frazier, what a job he did to get out of that. Gave up the single, but then the big double play. So the Yankees will turn to their bullpen once again. David Robertson comes out for his 62nd game of the season, a 4-5 record, a very good earned run average. He'll come right after you. He will challenge you with a fastball. He's got a good overhand hook that Robertson throws, and he's on a hot streak himself. Since the All-Star break, his ERA is sub-2. He has made 30 appearances since the All-Star break. He's become a very important arm for Joe Girardi in that bullpen.
This is the strength of the pitching staff at this moment, the bullpen.
What did Tony Pena tell us before the game about their bullpen?
Kerry Wood saved the season for their bullpen. When they acquired Kerry Wood, that freed up everybody else. Wood became the consistent 8th inning pitcher. They could rest Robertson and Jabba Chamberlain, and everybody got back into the swing of things.
They always felt that when they got that arm, somebody could get a day off and get rest, recuperate, and come out. They've got a lot of arms down there for the back end of the game.
John Buck, the catcher, swings at the first pitch and lines it into right field. Swisher over to cut it off. Buck swinging a hot bat, his second hit of the night.
Starting to figure out that teams are throwing him first pitch breaking ball. David Robertson's best pitch is a fastball, but he elects to go to the curveball, and it's a lazy one. A little looper right into John Buck's wheelhouse, and he jumps all over.
Blue Jays lead 7-3 here on Thank Cito night. Thank you, Cito night. Very successful. great ceremony, and 33,000 fans came out to honor Cito Gaston on a Wednesday night. Nicely done. John McDonald late on a fastball at 93. Great crowd, a great ceremony, emceed by Jerry Howarth, the radio voice of the Blue Jays, and Joe Carter, Devon White, Pat Henkin, all here to honor Cito, and Vernon Wells representing the active players. McDonald tried to bunt and fouled it off.
Not a bad idea right there from Johnny Mack. Even if you get thrown out at first base, you accomplish what you set out to do and get John Buck in the scoring position. Get that momentum back in that third base dugout after the leadoff single.
The difference in this game, the Blue Jays have out-homered the Yankees 3-1. Yankees have 10 hits, the Blue Jays have 11. Robertson's got his fastball back.
Yeah. He's got a good arm. It's nice and fluid. Out of the University of Alabama.
We talk about Kerry Wood joining this team. You get a veteran presence, a former closer, former starter for that matter. Bounced foul, but he comes over to the Yankees. Not really sure how they were going to use him early on, but what he did was he came in and really stabilized the bullpen to a point where Joe Girardi didn't have to use Robertson, Chamberlain, Boone Logan, and then Mariano.
The 8th inning last year was lights out inning for the Yankees. Phil Hughes was great last year, but when they moved him into the starting rotation this year, they didn't have that kind of lights out type of reliever in the 8th inning this year.
Fly ball down the right field line, but it's going to be into the seats. Swisher didn't have a play on it.
They had Java Chamberlain penciled in to do that, and he got off to a slow start. But once they got Kerry Wood, then they had the hammer in front of Rivera.
Let me tell you how good Kerry Wood has been. He's allowed just one earned run in 25 innings, a 0.36 ERA, with 29 strikeouts since being picked up by the Yankees. That's getting it done. Bounced and blocked by Cervelli. John Buck had a good move when the ball hit the dirt, but he had to hold his ground when Cervelli kept it close to home.
I always felt that if you're going to win in the playoffs, you have to be able to manufacture runs. You can't just sit back and hit home runs. But you also have to have a very deep bullpen. When those Yankees were winning World Series, they've always had a great bullpen.
John McDonald's putting up quite a fight here against David Robertson. The reason the Yankees bullpen was so great during those World Series years where their starters were going into the 6th and 7th inning. Then you could really match up very effectively with Jeff Nelson and the left-handers. And they just did a great job. Mike Stanton, and later on they had Rivera and
Ramiro Mendoza. Remember the jobs he would do in those middle innings. And then they had Rivera setting up Wetland.
96. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Blue Jays led 7-0 top of this inning. Yankees scored 3.
Boy, what an at-bat he's putting together.
He's able to catch up to the high fastball after fouling off the curveball. It's a 9-pitch at bat. McDonald has fouled off 6 pitches. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Ten pitches. Well, you look at Tampa Bay, they lose 2-0, get just 3 hits. Some of the postseason teams scuffle a little bit of late. Minnesota's having a terrible time. They lost, well, they're trailing again tonight, 2-0 to Kansas City. Full count.
Minnesota's lost 5 in a row.
Ron Geinerhard is not too happy about it either.
Nope. The only team in the American League who has not lost 5 in a row this year are the Yankees. Now that Minnesota lost yesterday.
There goes John Buck. McDonald pops it into center field. Buck will have to return to first. Bolson makes the catch. David Robertson wins a tough battle against John McDonald.
Upset with himself, not because he made it out, because he couldn't get the ball on the ground. When they start that runner, love to see them get that ball on the ground. At least he'd be in scoring position for the next batter.
Travis Snyder, big night tonight again. 2 for 3 with a homer. You can just see the way Snyder's taking pitches, that he's seeing the ball well.
Tucks that front shoulder, keeps his head down. For a while there, pitchers were really busting him up and in.
Fights that one off. Rodriguez at third base in time to get Snyder.
You could win an all-new Honda CRZ and other great prizes when you vote for the Honda Play of the Month. Vote today at BlueJays.com.
Junel Escobar will bat with 2 outs, man in scoring position. John Buck singled to start the inning. He's at second. Escobar's had a couple of singles tonight. Final home game of the season. Blue Jays will go on the road after this game, go to Minneapolis to take on the Twins for 4 games to wrap up the 2010 calendar. Line drive into right field. Swisher's got an eye on it, makes the catch. That ball was really sinking. But the Blue Jays strand the base runner. We have played 6 at Rogers Center on Thank You Cedar night. Blue Jays lead 7-3.
Vernon Wells presented a new Rolex to him here during the ceremony. He had inscribed on it on the back, "Work it from right to left," and that's how Cito describes his golf swing. He'll get a chance to put that in effect shortly after the season ends when he treats good friends Nick Leyva and Gene Tennis to a trip to Hawaii with their wives to enjoy a little golf and some libation and obviously some good times recounting the memories.
What do you mean? They're going to have an adult beverage on that trip, Sammy?
Maybe 1 or 2. Maybe a little red wine between that group.
Little celebration, and deservedly so. Mark Teixeira swings at the first pitch and pops it into shallow left field. McDonald back in front of Travis Snyder, makes a good play. Blue Jays had the shift on. McDonald was about at shortstop when he took off for that ball and made a nice catch.
And he was the only guy who was going to catch it because Travis Snyder was really pulled over in the left center field gap. Ball wasn't hit that high. McDonald got a good jump on it.
Third baseman Alex Rodriguez homered to start the Yankee rally in the sixth. Fastball on the corner. Good changeup hit on the ground. Escobar at short. On the money, 2 outs.
Never want to see that guy come up with guys on base because he's so dangerous.
He has now homered in 5 of his last 6 games.
You know, the month of September, now 9 home runs in the month of September, the most in a calendar month since June of 2008 when he hit 9 home runs. So he's starting to heat up himself.
Robinson Cano hit by a pitch his last time up, 0 for 2. Cano leads the major leagues in hits by a second baseman. Overbay just stole one from him. What a series Lyle Overbay has had with the glove. He started 3 great double plays last night. Here he takes away a hit from Robinson Cano. A 1-2-3 seventh for Frazier. As the Blue Jays are honoring Cito Gaston for his final home game of his managerial career here in Toronto. And the hitters have thanked Cito by putting up a 7 spot. Jabba Chamberlain will be the 4th Yankee pitcher to work here tonight. David Robertson had a good inning. He allowed just 1 hit in his 1 inning of work. Jabba Chamberlain has bounced back with a good second half.
Yeah, don't let those numbers fool you. The record and the earned run average. He is really rounding into shape, and the whole key for him is fastball location and a good slider. And he's starting to use that now. Got a 3.5 to 1 strikeout to walk ratio when he is dotting the eye with that fastball. And using that slider, he'll get lots and lots of strikeouts. And he has been on a roll, like you say. His ERA over his last 27 appearances is about 2. This should be a fun at bat right here. Power versus power.
Jose Bautista 0 for 3 tonight. Hard throwing Jabba Chamberlain into the game. Hard breaking ball misses down and away. Bautista just 1 for 5 against Chamberlain. Blue Jays have hit 3 home runs tonight. Snyder, Buck, and Aaron Hill. I think Cervelli wanted to call another pitch. Timeout. 1 ball, no strikes.
When he was in the minor leagues, Johnny Chamberlain had all 4 pitches. He was a starter. But when he comes out of the bullpen, he doesn't need all 4. He just has to come out there throwing that good hard fastball, good slider, as long as he's throwing it in a good spot.
Breaking ball, 3-0. Since Jose Bautista hit his 52nd home run, he's gone 0 for 17.
He might have the green light here at 3-0. Bust out of that 0 for 17.
And he went after a bad pitch. They were trying to go away. Chamberlain missed all the way off the plate inside.
You know, we have talked about the home runs and the on-base percentage. Jose Bautista, he is also 1 walk away from hitting the century mark in base on balls this year.
Three balls and a strike. Strike 2 with a breaking ball, borderline pitch. If Bautista reaches that 100-walk plateau, he will be in very elite company. Only 6 other players in the history of the game have hit 50 or more home runs, collected 100 walks and driven in 100, and hit 30 doubles.
And it's basically a who's who in sluggers in baseball history.
Popped it up. Swisher, the right fielder. 1 out. But you talk about that list of impressive hitters. 50 home runs, 30 doubles, and 100 walks. There's only been 6 guys that have compiled those numbers.
How about Babe Ruth back in the 20s? Hack Wilson, Jimmy Fox did it 2 times in 32 and 38. And then Bon Sosa and Luis Gonzalez. What a season Luis Gonzalez had in 2001. 100 walks, 30 doubles, 50 home runs in 1 season.
Brendan Wells takes a fastball down and away.
Yeah, he's also scored over 100 runs this year.
He's been a total, complete offensive player. Early in the night, we heard chants of MVP from the crowd. And he will certainly get some votes in that category. Wells on the ground. Glove, and Rodriguez recovers off the glove of Teixeira. The timing was disrupted on that play when Rodriguez bobbled it, and then that ball really ran on Teixeira.
Just couldn't get down, reach far enough to glove it cleanly. It went off of the tip of his glove, but he stayed right with it. This is a team, the Yankees, that have played great baseball defensively in the month of September. Watch as he goes over to glove it, gets off of his glove, stays with it, but then has to hurry the throw, and it goes off the glove of Teixeira. They still haven't scored this yet. But the Yankees, they've only committed 6 errors in the month of September. They lead the majors in fielding percentage.
1 out. Lyle Overbay. I think that's got to be an error. They just put it up. They give Rodriguez the air. He makes a good throw. Brendan Wells is out.
To show you how good they've been, this inner defense of Rodriguez, Jeter, Cano, and Teixeira all season long combined, they've only made 19 errors now.
Bounce. Wells will move up towards second to throw. Not in time. Good read by Brendan Wells. Ball was in the dirt.
You can watch the flight of the ball when you are a runner at first base, and if it bounces, And you can see that's going to hit the dirt, take off, and he doesn't hesitate at all. As soon as he sees the ball in the dirt, he's off. And he makes it easily. Cervelli does everything he can by blocking it and coming up throwing, but that is such a tough play for a catcher.
Curveball in the dirt. He did a good job of just blocking it. Overbay takes a breaking ball for a strike. A ball and 2 strikes on Lyle Overbay. Brendan Wells breaking for third, beats Rodriguez to the bag. Rodriguez was playing off the bag into shift, and Brendan just took a chance he could beat A-Rod to third.
And deep, too. He was playing deep because trying to knock anything down, keeping the ball in the infield. Brendan Wells picks up on that and picks up a stolen base, gets a running start. It's almost like a delay steal. Good call by the third base umpire, Mark Carlson, who was right on top of that play.
Sure was, and Girardi comes out of the dugout to back up Alex Rodriguez. But this is a timely play. You can see Wells just sticking out that leg. Bang, bang. He got that straight leg on the bag, and he tagged him high.
And A-Rod couldn't get down. He couldn't get the glove in the dirt. He has to tag him up high, and that allows him to get underneath him.
Cervelli thought the ball beat him. But Wells makes a good play. He's at third base now with 1 out. Infield has to come in. Strike 3 call. Good fastball from Chamberlain right on the corner.
When you have relievers that come in throwing strikes and throwing hard, can really help you out of a tough spot. He paints the outside corner against Lyle Overbay.
Now, if you're going to have a good bullpen in this American League East, you better have some strikeouts down there late in the game. If Overbay puts the ball in play right there, chances are Blue Jays are going to score a run. 2 outs.
Bill pops it back out of play.
Blue Jays lead 7-3 as they bat in the 7th. Ball on the strike. The Blue Jays, we mentioned earlier, have hit 3 home runs tonight. They have now hit 247 for the season. That's the 5th highest total in Major League history. Cito Gaston made that proclamation in spring training. I got 6 guys on my team I think will hit 20 or more home runs. You look at the scoreboard right now, and all 6 of them are in the lineup. You got Encarnacion with 16 home runs. He's not in the lineup tonight. And Alex Gonzalez had 17 when he left.
When he left, Travis Snyder missed over 50 games, and he has 13. So that could have been easily 3 more guys with 20.
A ball and 2 strikes. Hill rips it into right field. That's going to get down for a hit. Brendan Wells jogs home. Hill picks up the RBI. Big 2-out hit.
There is nothing like a 2-out hit. When you've got a very good reliever like a Jabba Chamberlain on the mound, and you got a guy at third base and 2 outs to come up with this, there is nothing finer than that. Aaron Hill busting it out of the box, and you know that's got to feel good right there.
Another perfect example of how Cito Gaston knows his players. He took Aaron Hill out of the game the other day and sat him in the following game because he sensed he was pressing a bit. He's bounced back with a 4 RBI home run night tonight. 2 outs. Adam Lind takes a strike.
He didn't look happy when he came out of the game, but that's just the way Aaron Hill is.
When you look at his average, 207, but the production late in the season has come back. 26 homers and 68 RBI.
Cito's always been very quick to tell the reporters that also. He said, hey, look, the guy's got 25, 26 home runs. Always thinking about the positive, always there for your players.
Chamberlain ahead 0-2. Missed with the fastball. That's the beauty of Cito Gaston. He played for 10 years. He understands the mindset of a player and how you can get overwhelmed mentally. Oftentimes, it's not a mechanical thing. It has nothing to do with your stroke. It's all about how you're thinking. And he knows it very well. And he saw Hill pressing and said, you know what, you need a break.
He also knows the personality of his players. And he knows how Aaron takes things very seriously and can get wrapped up in, you know, a few at-bats where you're 2 for 14 or whatever. You've been there. He knows it. He knows his players. A 2 for 14 might affect somebody different than it affects an Aaron Hill. Another job of managing people.
When you think about Hill and the great year he had last season and the previous season, he missed most of the year with that concussion. He'd just like to have a little more consistency. Obviously, the injury to his hamstring to start the season didn't help. Hopped up over near the seats on the third base side and out of play. 2 balls and 2 strikes, 2 outs. Blue Jays have added a run here in the bottom of the 7th.
It's another player that Cito Gaston helped. When he first came up, Adam Lind was bouncing up and down, and Joe Carter was talking about looking over your shoulder, and if I make an error, if I go 0 for 4, I'm going to be sent back down. Well, they gave him the job and said, get out there and hit. I believe in you.
Another pop-up. Cervelli will give it a look, but it's back behind the screen. You know, that's a familiar theme we've heard from Cito Gaston. Devon White talked about that when he got here. Joe Carter. Robbie Alomar credits Cito with turning him around, making him a great hitter.
He obviously sees something in each one of those guys.
Well, the talent is fairly even. It's how you handle the head part of it that separates average major leaguers from the great ones. Lynn fouls it back into the glove of the catcher. He strikes out. Chamberlain comes in and strikes out too, but he gives up an unearned run. Hill drives in his 4th run of the night. Cedar Gaston has gone to the bullpen and called upon Sean Camp to come in to pitch the 8th inning. Jason Frazier goes an inning and 2/3.
Gives up just 1 hit, no runs. Camp will now take over. This is his 13th game in the month of September.
John McDonald dives, gets to his feet, throws a strike to retire Marcus Timms.
They have used him early and often, and with the bottom of the lineup with the righties coming up, he's going to bring in Camp, who's been dynamite against righties this year. He'll throw a lot of ground ball out, so you got to be ready, and Johnny Mack makes his presence known, taking away a base hit from Marcus Timms.
Marcus Timms continues to hit the ball on the button every time, but John McDonald took a hit away from him. Defense has been good in this series for both clubs. Austin Kearns 0 for 2. Another bouncing ball. Big hop for Aaron Hill. 2 outs. Let's check in with Sam Cosentino.
Buck, in 2008, Clarence Edwin Gaston was given the Jackie Robinson Career Lifetime Achievement Award by the Negro League Hall of Fame. He puts that on par with his wins in '92 and '93 as World Series champions. Cito Gaston became the first African-American manager to lead a team to a World Series.
Well-deserved honor, and one that Cito Gaston's very proud of. And throughout the night, we've heard the former players talk about how Cito Gaston has impacted them, not only as players, but as people, much along the lines of Jackie Robinson.
I love what Mr. Beeston said about the quote from Jackie Robinson about your life is measured in the impact that you have on people. And it's so appropriate for tonight's festivities. So appropriate.
Cito Gaston has had an impact on many people. John Buck mentioned it specifically about turning his life around, made him an all-star here. He's now hit 20 home runs, and he's going to be an awfully attractive free agent if he hits the market. Cito Gaston honored by lots of fans here tonight. 33,143 have turned out on a Wednesday night. Francisco Cervelli's had quite a night. 3 for 3 with an RBI. Tough sinker ball from Camp. All he can do is foul it off.
And you can see why he is so tough on the right-handers. He can make the ball go in on them. He could frisbee slider that ball away from him. He'll throw 3 pitches for strikes. Get a lot of ground ball outs when he is in the ball game.
Another bouncing ball, foul at third. Tough to square that sinking fastball up, and when he's fresh and well rested, boy, he's got great life on all of his pitches.
Yeah, that's the key for him. He can wear down when you use him 3 or 4 days in a row. He just doesn't have that crispness to his pitches.
Just missed the outside corner.
You can win an all-new Honda CRZ and other great prizes when you vote for the Honda Play of the Month. Vote today at BlueJays.com.
Top of the 8th inning at Rogers Center. The center fielder, Greg Golson, has an RBI and a single in 3 trips. Camp gets ahead with a fastball. 2 outs. Yankees scored all their runs in the 6th inning. pulled into the seats down the left side. Brett Cecil was the starter. Went 5 1/3, gave up 9 hits. He gave up all 3 of the Yankee runs.
Cruising right along into the 6th inning was Brett Cecil. He had left some runners on base. He left 6 through those 5 innings, but then ran into trouble, I think, right after he hit Cano. Gave up the home run, then he hit Robinson Cano, then had his first walk, a couple of singles. But Frazier came in and did a good job of getting out of that inning.
Fly ball center field. Vernon Wells has room, makes the catch. Goldson's hit the ball hard 3 times tonight. Not much to show for it. Yankees strand a base runner. Blue Jays lead.
It didn't take long for the Blue Jays. First batter of the game for the Jays. This is the record breaker. Travis Snyder with his 13th home run. Home run number 245 on the season for the Blue Jays to break the old record. And right now the Jays haven't looked back.
Blue Jays lead at 8-3. Sergio Mitre will come out of the bullpen to pitch the 8th inning.
He has pitched in 24 games for the New York Yankees, including 3 starts for them. You know what you're going to get from Mitre. He's going to sink that ball on you. Doesn't throw it by you. A lot like Sean Camp, but with a little bit more of a fastball. Mitre's got great movement on his pitches.
John Buck's 2 for 3 with his 20th home run of the season tonight. Fastball finds the outside corner. If you were wondering about the shot of Travis Snyder hitting that home run with the black mustache, and you weren't with us earlier, the players all painted mustaches on to pay respect to their manager on Thank You Cito night.
Coaches, some of the coaches got in on it also. Nick Leyva had the fake mustache going. Sean Markham with the magic marker going around giving it to everybody.
Ball on the strike to Buck. Tapped foul. Pretty interesting that this season is winding up. Blue Jays a chance to secure a winning season with a win tonight. Last year at the end of the season, a lot of tension, a lot of turmoil because there was talk of Cito Gaston lost his team. Well, tonight, that's the furthest thing from anybody's mind with the support we've seen.
Yeah, it was really bad at the end of the year last year. You played on teams before where it was like you hear all these rumors and, well, this guy said that and this guy over here said this, and that's what it was like. I mean, it was awful. So much so that they had to have a team meeting the second last day of the season to clear the air.
Totally different atmosphere this year. Of course, there are a lot of challenges ahead for the organization. First and foremost, who takes over for Cito Gaston?
It's going to be a huge decision by the Blue Jays brass, and they'll make a very thorough, very thoughtful decision when it comes to the manager.
Don Buck chases that sinking fastball first out of the 8th.
They will leave no stone unturned when it comes to managers. And I thought Alex Anthopoulos said a very interesting thing in the game last night when we were talking to him about getting a new manager. He says, I don't want to wait too long because there's so many vacancies out there. There's so many teams that need managers. You wait too long and you could lose the guy you might want.
There's some good candidates for sure. John McDonald. Doubled, scored, and driven in a run. Another thing that I thought was very interesting in the process, Alex Anthopoulos said initially I thought I would get down to 3 candidates and then have a panel discussion with the media. And then I realized because there were so many openings, I didn't want to tip my hand as to who I might be interested in.
He's always played it very close to the vest, and I think that's the right way to do it. You don't want to be talking about your top 3 or 4 guys and somebody listening in who needs a manager and they steal the guy from you. You mentioned the Houston and Cleveland situation last year when Cleveland and the Astros were both looking for a manager.
Both battling over Manny Acta. They had narrowed their search to one guy, and then when Acta signed with the Indians, the Astros had to regroup.
How would you like that to get out? That let's use that in for that
this
situation.
Is our guy. If you're a manager,
yeah. If you're Houston and it's out that they want Manny Acta, he goes to Cleveland. They sign Brad Mills. How's Brad Mills feel? Like, you're his second choice. That's not a good way to start a relationship.
Mitre strikes out John McDonald 2 in a row by the big right-hander. Now there's so many opportunities that have opened up already. Cito here, Bobby Cox in Atlanta. Chicago's going to probably replace Mike Quade, or not replace him necessarily, maybe hire him. Seattle's got an interim manager. Marlins have an interim manager. There's talk of La Russa leaving in St. Louis. Torrey has already been replaced by Mattingly in the Dodgers dugout.
Dusty Baker is on his last year of his contract in Cincinnati.
That? Dusty Baker takes the team to the postseason for the first time in 12 years?
1995 was the last time they made the playoffs.
And he has been offered a 1-year contract, and he felt like it wasn't really representative of the job he's done, and I agree with him.
Mm-hmm.
Travis Snyder beats that sinker into the ground. So there are a lot of opportunities out there that some are open already, some are going to come open. There's talk that Ken Maka is going to move on from Milwaukee, but this is a very attractive opportunity. One ball, 2 strikes.
And who knows where they could come from. They could come from the minor leagues. They could be a bench coach on another major league team. You could recycle guys who've been out of baseball for a while. I mean, there's all kind of thoughts that are going to go into it. It's going to be very, very interesting.
Here's another club for you we forgot to mention. How about the New York Mets? Probably come open at the end of the season. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Mitre comes into the ball game and strikes out the side. The sinker ball is working. But the Blue Jays will pitch to the Yankees in the ninth, leading 8-3. Statistical information provided by Stats Inc. Music provided by Universal Canada. Been quite a night here at Rogers Center on Thank You Cito Night. Blue Jays wrap up the home portion of their schedule. Go into the 9th inning, leading the Yankees 8-3. Lots of fans coming out thanking Cito Gaston for his fine career as the skipper of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Yeah, a little bit of everything here tonight. It's one of those nights where you've got the festivities, you've got the Yankees in town, you've got a chance to win the series against New York. So Jesse Carlson will come in and try and finish it off. Last time we saw him a couple days ago, Carlson came into the ball game against these same Yankees and was credited with a hold by pitching a third of an inning against New York. He'll come at you with a little crossfire action, and he will start with the top of the lineup of New York.
What's new? 9th inning, you're going to face the top of the lineup. I don't know how they do it, but it always works out. Jeter, Swisher, Teixeira to face Jesse Carlson. First pitch, strike. Carlson ahead 0-2. Sean Kemp with another good inning of work. He walked one batter and stranded him. In and out before you noticed. Jesse Carlson trying to wrap it up.
I thought the relief work from Jason Frazier was huge in that 6th inning by getting that double play off of Swisher's bat.
Derek Jeter had a terrific at bat. First batter Frazier faced in the 6th. Worked him, and Jeter finally got a base hit to right, but Nick Swisher then hit into a 4-6-3 double play to end the inning and end the threat. Wow. Jeter, he spoiled that one, didn't he?
Caught looking again. Whew, the monitor.
Oh, man.
I told myself.
I got my man Bob over here. I think he was asleep on that.
Yeah, wake him up a little bit.
Come on, this guy's going to hit us one here.
Get the toothpicks under the eyes, Bob.
It's a little late for you, I know, but hang in there. We'll get you a coffee.
Boy, he can spoil some pitches.
This is what he did against Frazier in the 6th. Fouled off pitch after pitch and finally got a base hit. It's a much different Derek Jeter than we saw 1st of September in New York.
Yeah, he looked lost in September. Now he's starting to get locked in, and he's doing his best work when he is going up the middle in the opposite way. His base hit that you talked about off of Jason Frazier his last time up was shot into right field.
Two balls and 2 strikes. Another foul back out of play. He's much more balanced, Jeter is now. When we saw him before, he could never make that swing and make contact. A lot of movement, and he's been working with Kevin Long, the hitting coach, trying to quiet things down, and it appears as though they're headed in the right direction. Another good at bat for Jeter.
Making it tough. Now 8 pitches for Carlson against Jeter.
Just inside. Wow. Tough one to take.
He's missed a couple of times that were just off the plate. That was an excellent idea to go in there like that.
This is amazing. He's done it now a couple times tonight and really seeing the ball well and fighting off those tough pitches. 10 more pitches in this at bat. Jeter walks. What an at bat. The leadoff walk starts the 9th inning.
11 pitches Derek Jeter sees, 3 of them just off the plate. He has that ability to take pitches. It looks like he's off balance, but he knows what he's doing. He works the walk.
So Jeter's aboard for Nick Swisher. Blue Jays with a 5-run lead here, top of the 9th. John Buck will go out and try to help Carlson regroup.
There's nothing worse for a pitcher that you face the first batter of an inning. You throw a couple of pitches that are very borderline. You think you got them, you don't get it, and you've got to regroup, and you got to come back and make a better pitch. It's tough.
And then you try to pitch a little closer, a little tighter, and you end up with the leadoff walk. Yeah. Jeter put up quite a fight.
You know, all the while knowing who's on deck and who's in the hole.
Yeah. And this is the last thing you want to do is put base runners on when you've got a 5-run lead pitching to the Yankees. A breaking ball in there for a strike. 1-2. Swisher grounded into a double play in the 6th. Through there and into center field. Derek Jeter stops at second.
Ball looked like it skipped under the glove of Aaron Hill. Looks like he was there. But when he dove for it, it took one more hop and went right underneath his glove. Ball was hit very hard. Carlson missed it. Hill missed it. And the Yankees have something going here in the 9th.
Cedar Gaston has come out of the dugout. He's made the call to the bullpen. So the Yankees get something going here in the 9th inning, and Cedar Gaston wants to stop it quickly. So he has made the call for the big right-hander. Kevin Gregg will come out of the bullpen and take over for Jesse Carlson. to face Mark Teixeira. Bounces the first ball. Yankees trail by 5. It's been a good year for Kevin Gregg.
Boy, it certainly has. Look at that, 36 for 41 in save opportunity. He has worked in 60 games this year. Those 36 saves, good for 5th in the American League.
Teixeira chased a borderline pitch. It's 2-1. Mark Teixeira is 1 for 4 tonight. Jeter walked, Swisher singled. They're the base runners. Getting close. Keep your eye on him, Tabby.
I was all over that one.
Yeah.
I watched that one.
Throw him a sinker, Kevin. Pitch him away. On the ground, Overbay bobbles it. Gregg's at first. He makes the play. Teixeira's retired.
That ball came up on Lyle Overbay right there. Looking to get the out at second base, but you'll take it at first. Right now, you are just counting outs. He has had a great series with the glove. But that one short hopped and came up on him. Hit hard by Teixeira, boots it, stays right with it, and then gets the out at first.
I think we have seen a couple of these tonight. Aaron Hill got one at second base where it took a funny hop, and Overbay kind of got handcuffed on that ball. Alex Rodriguez, 1 for 4, but that one was a solo home run in the 6th. His 30th home run of the season. Gregg jumps ahead. 30 homers, 122 RBI.
Just past 500 at bats. He has missed some time this year.
Last year he didn't start the season until the 8th of May. Had hip surgery in the offseason. He hit 2 home runs and drove in 7 runs in the last day of the season to hit 30 and drive in 100.
You can see him as
Escobar in the hole. Got him. Junel Escobar did a good job of unloading that throw. Jeter scores, but now there are 2 outs.
Boy, what a play by Escobar. That's one of the plays that they have been working on. This ball's hit hard in the hole. Catch it, you don't have time to set your feet. Get it over there as quick as possible. And Overbay helps him out by stretching and keeping that foot on the back.
So the Yankees are down to their final out. Take another look at the play at first. Got it. By inches. Larry Vanover, the first base umpire.
You know, on a play like that, Overbay can't go out and get that ball. He's got to get the angle, which is off to the side, so the ball's got to carry a little bit farther. Did a good job of stretching and making that play.
Robinson Cano hitless again tonight. One for 10 in the series. Fly ball center field. This should do it. Wells makes the catch. The Blue Jays win on Thank You Cito night. Appropriately banging out 3 more home runs. They win the season series against the Yankees 10-8. First time they've won a season series against New York since 2000.
Yeah, 10 years. And on a night like tonight, with all the festivities that we had, the scoreboard, the video montage, you have to win the game. And the Blue Jays were up for the challenge tonight against a very good Yankee team. They sent their A team out there. Blue Jays pounded the ball. They got ahead early. turn it over to the bullpen, ends up winning this ball game 8-4.
3 more home runs. John Buck hits his 20th. Travis Snyder hits his 13th. Aaron Hill hits his 26th, and Brett Cecil wins for the 15th time this year.
Was cruising right along through 5 innings, got into the 6th, gave up 3 runs. Cecil with 15 wins, impressive. Pat Henkin talked very highly about him when he was on the air with us today. And you know, everybody wanted to do it for that man right there. Get that win on your night tonight. So congratulations to Cito Gaston and the Blue Jays.
He will walk off the field for a final time as the manager of the Toronto Blue Jays with a win. Acknowledging the great crowd here tonight. Blue Jays honoring Cito Gaston and a fine career in Toronto coming to an end here in this ballpark. Blue Jays will go on the road 4 more games, and Cito looks like he's going to join Sam Cosentino, so hopefully we'll have that. And now let's go to Sam Cosentino.
Well, we got a little bit of that, guys. Well, Cito, the Gatorade shower, I got it too. We got the mustaches going. What a spectacular night. Your thoughts on the pregame ceremony?
Well, it was outstanding. I mean, you know, leave it up to the Blue Jays organization and Paul Beeston to put something together like that. It was, you know, I tried to hold my emotions back. I think I did okay, but there was a lot of touching things that was going through my mind out there in that particular time.
I've known you for a long time. I haven't seen that kind of emotion come out to you. But when you talk about guys in the past, Paul Molitor and Jack Morris, Hank Aaron, your old roommate, what was going through your mind at that time when those guys, Dusty Baker, were speaking so highly of you?
Well, you know what was going through my mind is that I think that perhaps I've had some kind of influence on their lives, and certainly they had some on mine, and it was all good. Everything was good.
Before the game, in your pregame press conference, you talked about the 92 and 93 World Series, but the Jackie Robinson Achievement Award, why is that so special to you?
Well, without Mr. Jackie Robinson, I wouldn't be standing here, and I can only imagine what he went through. I know I went through some of it coming through the minor leagues, but for him to do what he did, he changed the whole world in a lot of different ways, so I have all the respect in the world for Mr. Jackie Robinson.
Cito, once the game ends, that final walk-off with all the fans here saluting you, over 33,000 here today. What are you thinking about when you're walking, through the handshakes and back into the dugout?
Well, I was actually just thinking about the ball game we just won and how Cecil's pitched so well this year and the guys have played so hard this year. And I guess once we get on that plane tonight, I'll think a little bit more about this. But I do once again want to thank all you fans for supporting us over the years. Without you, we wouldn't have the memories. We wouldn't have the dreams. We certainly would not have 2 World Series rings.
And Cito, one last question for you. When you talk about the memories and you look at that pregame ceremony, what touched you most about that ceremony?
I think just with some of the testimonies from some of the guys that said things about me, and of course also the fact that this ball club itself here, I mean, thought enough, the guys on this club thought enough to go out and buy me a present. So that just tells you a little bit about them, and certainly hope that I touch their lives a little bit too.
Cito, on behalf of myself, Rogers Sportsnet, and baseball fans right across the Canada here at the Rogers Center, thank you very much.
Thank you, Sam. Appreciate it. All right, guys. Thank you.
Buck Cito Gaston on his final night here at the Rogers Center as manager.
Thank you, Sam, and a quite appropriate night for Cito Gaston to walk off the field the winner. His club pounded out 3 more home runs. They beat the Yankees, and to acknowledge that, a little Gatorade bath for Cito Gaston is his players acknowledged.